The line today in Birmingham. It's Judgment Day, SWAC style. Two-story powerhouses trying to reach the pinnacle one more time. This afternoon, glory will go to the victors, while the losers will wonder what might have been. Tigers are wild here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. The 9th SWAC title game pitting the Tigers of Grambling State against the Tigers of Jackson State. Now this is how these two schools made it to the championship game. Jackson State surviving the Eastern Division, just nudging out Alabama A&M. While Grambling, they basically ran the table, losing only once in conference to their rival Southern. Historic Legion Field here in Birmingham, Alabama. My name is Eric Collins. This year, Grambling, they're cooking on all cylinders. Grambling has lost just one conference game, in large part because of the play of their junior quarterback, Brandon Landers. The Landers has started 2 years prior to this, but he hasn't been nearly as consistent as he has been this year. Not only has Landers figured it out on the ground, but he's also doing it through the air as well. Grambling has a great history of great quarterbacks, guys like James Harris, Doug Williams, and Bruce Eugene. But this year, Brandon Landers is finally giving the world-famed band of Grambling something to toot their horn about. And with that, let's hear from the world-famed band of Grambling. Now let's go to my partner, Jay Walker, who's with the Jackson State Band, the Sonic Boom of the South.
Okay, Eric, now in this game, the music's going to bump the room. Let me introduce you to the Sonic Boom. Now, Jackson State has got an MVP, a quarterback nicknamed Jim Browski. They all think that he can win it. In high school, the boy was all but mythic, winning championships, and that's a fact. At Jackson State, they come to expect that. If JSU is going to win today, it all comes down to the way who play? The J, the I, the M, the Y. The J, the I, the M. It's Jimmy.
Don't go anywhere. We will have the 9th SWAC championship game coming your way. Grambling State looking for their 22nd all-time title against Jackson State looking for their 16th. Tigers of two different stripes engaged in battle this afternoon here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. The Tigers of Grambling taking on the Tigers of Grambling State. This is a rematch of a game played earlier this year, a game played on October 20th in Jackson that was won by the visitors. Grambling, a 10-point victor. You talk to both coaches, and they say that was kind of just a weird game. Neither team played the way that they normally play, and well, probably not that indicative of what we're going to see today, because both teams didn't feel like they learned a lot from each other because of the way that they played. There's Rod Broadway in just his first season with the Grambling State Tigers. He has led them back to the pinnacle of glory. They're in the championship game looking for yet another championship. And there is Rick Comegee. Talk about the guy who's playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers. This is his second season at Jackson State. The 3 prior years, they were below 500. He's had over 500 seasons, and now in the championship game.
I think what we'll see here is probably two of the best coaches in all of FCS football. These are fantastic coaches, coaches on the rise, and these are two powerhouse programs competing for a SWAC championship. Some of the good old folks in the SWAC will say this is the way it should be year in and year out, but what great talent we have and what great coaches.
Grambling won the toss. They deferred to the second half. Jackson State will receive. This is Tim Manuel. He is not only the place kicker, but he's also the kickoff guy and the punter for Grambling. And he will knock this one out. One of the stronger legs you're going to find in the SWAC, and he's going to send it all the way to the goal line, where the ball will be downed. So Jackson, they will start with the ball, first down and 10 on the 20-yard line. And somewhere in that pack, you're going to see good old number 9, Jimmy Oliver, the senior from Columbia, Mississippi, who has put up fantastic numbers as a high school player, as a junior college player, and now here in the SWAC.
One thing about Jimmy Oliver, as the seasons progress, he's really cut down on his interception ratio. In the first 5 games of the season, he already had 5 interceptions. Last 5 weeks, only threw 1 pick. That's why Jackson State is here today.
On the year, 17 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions. Oliver starts in the shotgun with 5 wide. Quick little out, pass is caught. Christopher Johnson, senior from Jackson, Mississippi, picks up a good gain on first down. Pickup of 5. Here are the starters for Jackson State. They have one all-SWAC performer. That's their center, Lorenzo Breland. They are very high on him. He is a people mover. He makes all the line calls up front. Skill position players. They have a lot of youth there, and there's missing a big name. Eric Hoff, their normal tailback. He is a highly thought of transfer from Ohio State. He will not play. Instead, we'll have Lavaris Giles being the main runner. Maybe that's why they're throwing on the first 2 plays of the game.
I think what they're trying to do is set the tempo. We're going to come out and throw the football, and Jimmy Oliver's going to win the game for us. That's why they come out with 2 passes.
Defensively, this is how Grambling lines up. The strength of their team is up front. John Scroggins is a transfer from Minnesota. Melvin Matthews, Jason Banks, 2 just clogs right in the middle of that line, and Christian Anthony is their leading sacker. Linebackers Carter, Hall, and Wilburn all went to the same high school in Houston, Texas. That's a great story. And a lot of speed, as per usual, in that Grambling State secondary. They will get after you, and they'll need to today because Jimmy Oliver looks like he's going to be pass happy. Oliver to throw on 3rd down and 5. Has a man, but it's the wrong uniform. It's an interception. Grambling coming the other way. It's DeMarcus Deezer.
Right away, and we just talked about how Jimmy Oliver did a great job with his progressions throughout the season. You come out in the first series of the game and you throw an interception. Not a good start. Look at Jimmy. You'll see him get flushed out the pocket, looks downfield, just doesn't have enough arm strength to get the ball to his wide receiver that was downfield. And Dizer did a good job of coming over from the weak safety position to make the interception.
Dizer now at 3 interceptions on the season. And a turnover gives the ball over to Brandon Landers in Grambling. Landers has really improved each and every year. Started as a true freshman and completed just 41% of his passes. This year, he's all the way up to 56. Underneath, pass is complete. Clyde Edwards with the grab. His 51st catch of the season, senior from Houston, Texas. This is how Grambling lines up. We'll start with the offensive line, where they have been somewhat shaky over the last couple of weeks of the season. Their best offensive lineman is their senior center from right here in Birmingham, Tavares Cockrell. Skill position players, all the runners we will see today, all 6 on the 2 deep, are freshmen, led by Frank Warren, who posted 862 yards on the ground with 4 touchdowns as an 18-year-old. Pass is incomplete wide, looking for the senior tight end, Tim Abney. Defensively for Jackson State, this is how they line up. Marcus Bernard, Corey Clark, Dennis Coit, and Daniel Brooks. Both Brooks and Clark were all SWAC performers. Brandon Landers in the shotgun, 2nd down and 10. Over the middle, has a man, pass is caught. That's 3 straight completions for Grambling. This one to Clyde Edwards, his 2nd catch of the day. Linebackers for Jackson State, Willie Williams, Marcellus Speaks, he's their leading tackler at 77 tackles. Jamison and Malcolm Palmer in the backfield. Dominic Johnson, Kerry Hoskins, and Keith Camp. Good start to the game so far for Grambling. They get an interception defensively, and now they're marching down the field. Inside the 5-yard line, down to the 2 goes the quarterback Landers.
This has been interesting watching the chess match early. So often in championship games, teams try to control the line of scrimmage early and show their physical strength. Neither team is following that game plan. They're coming out throwing the football, trying to see who's got the best passing attack. Right now, Grambling's doing a good job of taking advantage of the turnover from Jackson State. Looks like it could result in points for the Tigers.
Frank Warren is the setback deep behind Brandon Landers. Man in motion is Edwards. And they give it to Warren. And the freshman runner knocks at the door, but no one answers. He's stopped at about the half-yard line.
One of the problems you hear time and time again of the spread offense is what do you do when you get the ball down in the goal line? They tend to have trouble getting pushed off the line of scrimmage to muscle the ball into the end zone. So Rams got another shot at it, but with those spread offenses, so often they struggle with the power running game when they need it.
Yeah, they get 4 more shots at it. That was enough for a first down. So it's first down and goal at the half-yard line. Out of the jumbo package, it's an easy touchdown for Frank Warren. So a fantastic opening drive for the Tigers of Grambling.
Great job of push on the left side of the line by Rive Smith and Edwards, just getting the penetration, and a great seal block there by Cornelius Walker, the other freshman running back, allowing Warren to ease his way into the end zone.
So Tim Manuel just kicked this game off less than 3 minutes ago. Will now come on and attempt the extra point. Snap is bobbled, but no worries. Manuel makes it a 7-0 lead for the visitors from Grambling, Louisiana. Frank Warren, what a fantastic freshman season he has had. Freshman from Pleasant Grove, Alabama, enjoying his homecoming here in Birmingham.
You see that?
So far, so good for Grambling. They're on top of Jackson State, 7-0, less than 3 minutes into this one. And, well, they used the jumbo package down in the goal line a moment ago.
We wonder why Frank Warren was able to get to the end zone untouched. We'll take a look at the spot shadow. Big number 73, that's a big fullback because he's an offensive lineman. 6 feet, 300 pounds. He's the lead blocker. Look at the collision on this play as he goes in there. An offensive lineman, they just want to hit people. Just take up a lot of space and allow Warren to get there for the touchdown. William Nance gets an assist with his size on the touchdown run.
Frank Warren, second-team All-SWAC as a freshman. William Nance paves the way for his 5th touchdown of the year.
That's unique. As a quarterback, you know, I used to have to buy lunch and stuff for my wide receiver and stuff like that. When a lineman helps a running back get in the end zone, you got to buy him a full-course meal. He wants a buffet.
Tim Manuel kicks off for the 2nd time already. On the return, it's Jamar Johnson. Johnson gets out across the 25 to the 26. Return of 18 yards before he is brought down. And now Jackson State will try and recoup what they just lost.
It'll be interesting to see what the play call selection becomes. We know they want to come out aggressively and throw the football, but when your quarterback throws an interception on his 3rd pass of the game, do you become more conservative and try to run the ball? And with your star running back Hall not in the lineup, what do you do? I think you have to continue to call the quarterback's numbers, but with them going with a 2-back set, looks like they're going to try and run the ball a little bit and allow Oliver to settle down in this football game.
Laverace Giles and Edward Lee in the backfield. Lee is the fullback. Giles is behind him. Rodney Gray goes in motion, and they give the ball to Giles. And Giles powers forward. Good run. Pick up a 6, maybe 7. Out to the 35-yard line.
And that's what you need right there. When you've got a quarterback that's struggling, go ahead and have a running back that can get you 6 yards on the first time he touches it. You see Giles does a good job of getting his shoulder square once he got past the initial line of scrimmage. He's a good-looking running back. He goes 6'1", 230 pounds, so he looked very quick. And for a guy of his size, he's got shifty moves.
Yeah, about 8 months ago, he was the SWAC champion in both the 100-meter and 200-meter dash.
At 230 pounds.
Hard to believe.
Freak of nature.
They give him 8 yards on that first down carry, so it's 2nd down and 2. Pitch out. This time sledding a little bit tougher, and he is caught in the backfield and brought down. Stopped for a loss. Keith Hall is the one who busted up that play.
Great job of penetration by the Grambling State defense, and that's what you need. I mean, when you're in a championship-type game, great teams take advantage of opportunity. So Grambling had the turnover last time. They put 7 points on the board. Jackson State looked like they're going to come out and establish the run. A good team is not going to let you show your hand that fast. You can't just say, we're going to run the ball on you. They tried to do that. The first play, they got it. Second play, Grambling made some adjustments. Now they're going to force Oliver to throw.
3rd down and 6. 4 receivers in the game. Oliver flushed, and he's spun around. He's still on his feet, trying to make something happen. He's going to run for it, and he's got enough for the first down. I think this is going to be close. The spot is basically right on the line that he needed to get to.
Now you see what the legend of Jimmy Oliver is all about. When things break down, you think you've got him. He finds a way to make plays, and he's an excellent runner. Gets outside the line of scrimmage, gets a block downfield, and it's going to be close whether or not he got that first down.
Well, it turns out it's not as close as I thought. They're not even going to need to measure. They give him the first down.
I mean, that play was done. I mean, there was penetration by Jason Banks right up the middle, but Jimmy was so elusive, and he just made things happen with his feet. You love him and you hate him, but when he's special, he can make special plays.
Oliver keeps it on the ground. LeVar's Giles, not much doing. I don't even know if he made it back to the line of scrimmage. Keith Hall again on the stop.
Grambling's big in the middle. We talk about Jason Banks on the last play. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. And then you got Melvin Matthews, who goes 6'5", 300 pounds. And you've got linebackers that like to hit. So if you're going to run the ball versus Grambling, I don't think you're going to have much success trying to run right up the gut of the defense.
On second down. Oliver, the senior from Columbia, Mississippi, maybe changing the play here at the line. Giles takes his time and weaves forward for a good gain. That's going to be close to first down yards.
Looks like they're settling down, starting to find a rhythm. And I've never seen Jackson State come out with so much two-back offense. And take a look at the blocks you see here on the up front line, and always follow the fullback. Anytime a running back has positive yards, look for the fullback. And, ooh, look at that collision in the hole by Edward Lee. Anytime you got big running plays and there's a fullback in the game, follow him, and you'll see a collision and some positive yardage.
They give him enough for the first down. Edward Lee paving the way. And so a fresh set of downs. Ball on the 47-yard line. Edward Lee, just a freshman, but they ask a lot out of him. Playing in the SWAC Championship game. Extra tight end in the game now. And maybe a busted play. Oliver keeps it himself and makes something out of nothing. Oh, that should have been a loss, but instead it's a pickup of 12 yards.
The legend of Jimmy Oliver grows. This is what they talk about. They saw him do it in Mississippi on the high school level. He did it at the junior college level. When nothing's there, I want Jimmy Oliver as my quarterback. Look at him take a busted play and turn a negative into a positive. Great running and great vision, and that's that senior leadership that you want from a quarterback.
Jay, as a quarterback, when you turn around and you're thinking about pitching it, you always look to see someone's back there, and you sometimes not even trust.
Well, you have to know. You know where you're throwing the ball to all the time. It's never a blind pitch. And in the case of Jimmy Oliver, see, I was a passer. So in that last play there, I'm thinking, uh-oh, I'm about to get hit. Jimmy Oliver's thinking, I'm going to make something special happen.
Stretch play, left side. And Giles. No, this is the first carry of the day for Cody Hall. And Hall picks up a couple of yards on first down. They're going to score a gain of 5.
What a great job by offensive coordinator James Woody for Jackson State to come out knowing that you wanted to throw the football and to come up with creative runs to dominate the line of scrimmage against a much bigger team. So that tells you that this team is well balanced. They don't have to rely on the pass. They can also run the ball effectively as well.
Hall is one of many highly thought of transfers that are going to play this afternoon. He started his college career at Southern Mississippi. Oliver. Nothing doing there, and this time he just throws that out of bounds and lives to fight another day. Pressured by Christian Anthony.
Anytime as a quarterback you've got a 3-step drop, you have to have a clock in your head that says, okay, it's not there, I got to get rid of it right away. Jimmy Oliver, because of his athleticism, if it's not there, he's always looking to make something happen, and at the end of the play, he got smart and decided to get rid of the football.
First time against Grambling, there was nothing doing on the ground, just 25 yards. Already today, 39 yards on the ground against the G-men. Oliver has a man, and it's caught inside the 20, down to the 11-yard line.
Great read by Jimmy Oliver, finding the soft spot in the defense there. They ran with a 3-level throw. They sent somebody deep on the clear out, had a wide receiver open in the secondary slot. 3-level throw. You got one short, you got one soft in the middle, in the intermediate zone. And what a great throw and catch by Jimmy Oliver, putting that ball on the money. Look at the presence and he can deliver a strike. I think we talked about his running ability, but he's also got great pocket presence, and that was a perfectly thrown ball with a great executed passing play.
So it's a first down, ball on the 11-yard line. Jackson State trying to answer the score for Grambling. Man in motion is Carlos Simpson. They fake it to him. Oliver keeps it himself and gets inside the 10.
You know, it was interesting when, after Jackson State lost to Grambling State, I talked to the coaches when they had a crucial game to determine who was going to play in the SWAC Championship, and they said, we want Grambling again. They said, we want them again. We think we can beat them, and give credit. I told them you got to be careful what you wish for because you just may get it. But they think they've got the skill level, and both coaches were very complimentary of each other's program. They said there's no big difference in talent between Jackson State and Grambling, and right now this has the makings to be an old-fashioned heavyweight fight.
Jackson State, they have not won the SWAC Championship since 1996. And a flag flies, our first of the day, before the ball is snapped.
And that doesn't work at Jackson State. You know, they expect to compete for championships. And going back to 1996, they've got one of the most faithful football communities. I mean, that's the school of Walter Payton.
False start, 76, offense, 5-yard penalty, remain second down.
That was Gregory Edwards, today's referee, with the call as the ball is marched back 5 yards for Jackson State.
And to think of the job that Comagese did, you know, we asked him in our meeting, we said, did you think you'd be in a SWAC championship game in your second year? He said, maybe year 3 or 4. But give credit to these guys. He said, although the coach gets plenty of credit, this team dug in deep and really took this us against the world attitude, and that's why they're here in the SWAC championship game.
7-2 in conference play. Their only losses coming against Grambling and also losing against Prairie View A&M. Oliver forces one in, and it's incomplete. They're going to say the ball skipped before it made it to Jamar Johnson.
This is the problem you have with a quarterback that can run the ball so efficiently. Jamar Johnson was open for some period of time there on the corner route, but because Jimmy Oliver was looking to run and get out the pocket, he delivered the ball late, threw it off balance. Take a look. See, this time he's spinning outside the pocket. Jamar Johnson was sitting there for the longest time, and this ball was skipped. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close.
Third down and 13. How aggressive will Jimmy Oliver get here? Let's see if he goes to the end zone. Play action. And Oliver has a man. It's caught. Touchdown. Cedric Dixon.
Good job by Jackson State, and Jimmy Oliver with a fantastic individual effort, and Cedric Dixon did a great job on the route. Take a look at the play action pass. Got his back turned to the defense, step up in the pocket, and still throw a strike for the touchdown, and that's what you need to do.
You know what? I was asking you that question. I was thinking maybe Comagese would say, you know what? Let's not make any mistakes. Let's have a conservative play call and maybe kick a field goal. They weren't conservative at all there. They trusted their senior.
Very risky to call a play action pass with your back to the defense in the red zone, but when you've got an athlete like Jimmy Oliver, where one man can't bring him down in the backfield, you can make those type of play calls.
First team All-SWAC kicker Eric Perry makes the extra point, and we're knotted at 7. Jimmy Oliver finds Cedric Dixon. The senior quarterback finds the freshman for the first score of the day for the Tigers of Jackson State. The sonic boom of the South was something to toot their horn about. Jackson State, after giving up an early touchdown to Grambling, they get it right back.
And that's what you expect. I mean, this is a championship game, and you got two teams that are playing fantastic football. And Jackson State, they ride Jimmy Oliver. You know, they stick with the horse that brought you there to the race, and they're going to rely on Jimmy Oliver, even though he threw an interception in the first series. They came right back, and we saw his athleticism. And that's why Jimmy Oliver, you either love him or you hate him, and more times than not, you're going to love him.
Kevin Morrell will kick things off for Jackson. And on the return, this is Clyde Edwards. And Edwards juking and jiving and not going very far, very fast. Stopped at the 18-yard line after a return of just 5 yards.
Clyde Edwards is a guy that does it on special teams, but he's also one of the best wide receivers in the SWAC Conference. First team selection, 12 touchdowns on the season.
He needs 2 more catches to become the all-time leading receiver in the history of Grambling, which is that's a big name.
You're talking about some names. You know,
Charlie Joyner, Tremaine Johnson.
The Andersons, Scotty and Stevie, they went there, and Tremont Douglas and all those guys.
Henry Tolbert just a year ago, pretty darn good. All right, Brandon Landers out of the shotgun, working with 5 receivers in the game. 2 to the left, 3 to the right. Landers hits the crossing route, pass is complete. Tim Abney with the grab. Marcellus Speaks brings him down after a gain of not much at all, maybe a yard.
That's what you have to do against spread offense teams. You can't come out and play man-to-man. You've got to play aggressive zone. Well, how do you play aggressive zone defense? Keep the ball in front of you, and when they catch the ball and get beyond the line of scrimmage, hard, firm tackling to make your tackles to minimize the gains.
Inside handoff, call it a speed sweep, and again, nothing doing at all. Maybe getting back to the line of scrimmage is Grambling.
Big Daniel Brooks. We talk about a first-team All-SWAC performer, number 2. Look at him just stuff the wide receiver trying to make a block, and Brooks makes the running back pay there. Talk about making big-time plays. Brooks can get it done. 12.5 tackles for losses. We'll take that number up to 13.5 tackles for losses now. Fantastic play by Daniel Brooks.
Brooks started his career playing for Phil Fulmer and the Tennessee Volunteers. Highly thought-of player. On 3rd down and a bunch, Landers makes a man miss and gets the first down for the G-Men.
Same things that make you laugh will make you cry sometimes. We just talked about what a great tackle that was by Daniel Brooks on the previous play. Well, on this last play, he got exposed. Too much room and space, and Brandon Landers one-on-one with Daniel Brooks in the open field. And I'll tell you, quarterbacks are athletes, Eric. You don't want to believe me, but there's some great athletes that play the quarterback position.
Pickup of 12 yards. Were you one of those great athletes for the Howard Bison?
I could throw.
You got a national championship next to me. Pass is incomplete, trying to get it right side to Clyde Edwards. Good defense on the play played by Jackson. Marcus Jameson on the coverage.
I'll tell you one thing I'm really impressed with Brandon Landers is watching him in pregame warm-ups. As a former quarterback, you can tell when another quarterback can throw the football. Doesn't matter who's running the routes. You just look at the release. And Brandon Landers has one of the prettiest releases I've seen in a long time.
Oh, the route is jumped. It's going to be 6 the other way. Dominic Johnson. Touchdown, Jackson.
You can have the best release in college football all you want, but if you don't know if you're not throwing the ball where you should be, it's going to be picked off there, and it'll be an easy ball for the defense to catch as well. And you talk about jumping a route. I don't know if Landers telegraphed that route at all, but wow, it just looked like Dominique knew the ball was coming his way.
Johnson, the junior from Texas City, Texas, his team-leading 5th interception of the year.
If you're going to throw that ball to the outside, you got to know something out of your pre-snap read to get it done early. And tough to read a squatting corner.
Perry, extra point is good. And just like that, 14 unanswered points for Jackson State. Johnson, no worries on this. 35 yards equals 6 points.
I'm Ronald Mason Jr., President.
Dominic Johnson, Jr., transferred from Missouri, picking off a Brandon Landers pass and marching it in 35 yards for the 2nd touchdown of the day for Jackson State.
That's what you have to do. When you got to know the down and distance, and there was a 3rd and short passing situation. You got to know the down marker is, squat on the route, and he guessed right. And more impressively, he caught it. So many times we see young men getting this football game on the big stage and interception in their hands, and more often than not they'll drop it, but he made the catch and took it to the house.
Well, Rick Comegy has to be very happy because Rod Broadway's team, they scored the first touchdown of the game. Maybe you would think that Jackson is reeling. Guess not. They have a methodical touchdown drive and then follow that back up with a pick 6.
Yeah, and that's what it happens. And now you talk about the game of chess. Now it goes to Ron Broadway. What are you going to do with your quarterback? He just threw an interception. Do you have faith in him to keep throwing the ball, or do you get a little conservative and start trying to pound the football with those freshman running backs you have by committee?
A bit of a mistake there. Kevin Morrell Kicks the ball out of bounds, and so it's going to be good field position for the G-men of Grambling. Let's talk a little bit about Brandon Landers. What an interesting college career he's had. He got forced into action as an 18-year-old in 2004 when Bruce Eugene, their record-setting quarterback, hurt his knee. So he wasn't ready. Had to play a full season as the quarterback for Grambling when there's such high expectations.
He did a good job. The team struggled, but he was still named SWAC Freshman of the Year. So he put up some good numbers in. The tough part is after you start finding your groove, you got to sit down on the bench the next year when Bruce Eugene comes back.
The receiving team has elected to take the ball at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10.
I mean, that's a tough position, though. Playing quarterback at Grambling, I mean, you're talking about, as a true freshman, you're talking about Doug Williams and Clemente Gordon and James Shaq Harris and Bruce Eugene and Brandon Landers in one of the most glorified positions in black college football.
Well, Landers was expecting just to be holding a clipboard. The fans are expecting to see Bruce Eugene, and Eugene can't play, and they get Landers out there who tried hard and did put up decent numbers, but it must have been difficult not completing 50% of your passes.
Tough.
Didn't play at all his next year in 2005 because Eugene came back. He's been the starter the last 2 years.
And I like to give him credit because he rebounded from a tough season, and now he's here in the championship game today. So that's why you know that he's going to come back in this football game and make a difference. He's a tough kid, and he's got a great arm. He can really throw the football, and he'll come back and make some good throws before this day is out.
Rod Broadway replacing Melvin Spears, who was let go at the end of last season. Grambling was just 3-8. Pass out in the flat, complete. Clyde Edwards, his 3rd grab of the day. That now ties the all-time record for receptions in a career for Grambling. Marcus Bernard on the stop.
Edwards is a good one. He's got great size. 50 catches on the season coming into this game, and averages 14.6 yards per catch, and that's what you want to see. I like a wide receiver where every time I throw him the football, he's going to get me a first down.
3rd down and 5. Let's see what Landers chooses to do here. To get out to the 45-yard line. Little quick hitter. Pass is caught. 1st down and then some. Larry Curligan, his first catch of the day.
All right, Eric, we got a lot going on, and I like to call a little ball talk. And we talked about the coaching changes that are going on. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about in black college ball talk this week, the coaching changes. Alcorn State has a new coach. Texas Southern has a new coach. Lane has a new coach coming. Florida A&M has a new coach, and one team that could be on that list could be Grambling. Some rumblings
Florida
out there.
A&M doesn't have a new coach just yet.
They're naming one December 17th, which is Monday. Some people are saying could be the game you're looking at right there.
Rod Broadway, only 1 year into his tenure at Grambling. You think he possibly leave to go to FAMU? Landers looking for a bunch, nobody home, pass out of bounds.
I think that's the question. You know, so often when you hear head coaches, they really want to have a good relationship with their university president. He was familiar with the new president of Florida A&M from their days together at North Carolina Central. Did a great job at Central, did a great job at Grambling. You'd like to see him stay, but it is the business of coaching, and sometimes you got to make those decisions. His response on it is, on Monday, I will be at Grambling.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 50, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic. 1st down.
Oh, that's a break for Grambling. They're going to call roughing the passer. Sam Washington getting too physical with Brandon Landers. So that's going to be 15 extra yards for the G-men. All right, just to follow up, I guess I got to ask you, you think Grambling, they're the darlings of HBCU football, have been for years. So many names, Eddie Robinson, Doug Williams, Charlie Droner, everyone. Why is FAMU a job that would be attractive to Rod Broadway?
FAMU is the darling of the MEAC Conference. In Tallahassee, Florida, football players. They're traditional too. Talking about guys like Jake Gaither,
Bob Hayes.
Bob Hayes went there.
Brandon Landers picks up 11 yards on 1st down and 10.
So they've got tradition there. And, you know, sometimes it becomes a distraction, but I really do like the way the Coach Broadway handled it. He said, I'm the head coach of Grambling, and on Monday when they make that press conference, I will be at Grambling.
You know, these are the coaches that have been working that sideline since 1941. And there's only 4 names. Eddie Robinson, Doug Williams, Melvin Spears, and that man, Rod Broadway.
Each one of those coaches has done a great job at that school. Every one of them got to the SWAC championship game, so it's a great job to have, and high expectations come along with the job.
Inside handoff. Freshman Frank Warren barrels forward for a pickup of 5 yards.
And this is why in this game here, Jackson State came out on this drive and did a good job, but penalties will kill you in championship games. That roughing the passer kept this drive alive. They had an opportunity to get a 3-and-out, didn't take advantage of it, roughing the passer. Now all of a sudden Grambling looks like they're going to capitalize on another team's mistake and put some points on the board.
That looks to be Anthony Atkins, Jr. from Long Beach, California, who is down on the ground in pain. Training staff looking at his left leg. Atkins, one of those ballyhoo transfers that there's so many of them for Jackson State. He started his college career playing for the Washington Huskies.
UW, Purple Rain, Seattle. He likes to travel. Goes from Long Beach to Washington, then goes from Washington to Jackson, Mississippi. Next, he'll end up on the East Coast somewhere. Probably go to Florida. Why not go coast to coast?
Got another year of eligibility. Why not?
And that's the difference in the programs. And I always say this, on the FCS level, it's not necessarily who you go out and recruit. It's who you have that's coming on your campus that's going to make an impact immediately. Meaning who's going to transfer in that's not on the media guide the previous year that's coming in. And I think that no other school's done a better job in that this season than Jackson State. Immediate impact players that transfer to the program.
Yeah, Rick Comegy, he has had players transfer in from Ohio State, transfer in from Cincinnati, Southern Miss, Mississippi State, Washington, we talked about that, Tennessee. That's big-time talent. Well, after all the college football games are played this weekend, ESPN Classic will pick the best game from the ESPN family of networks and give you a chance to see it again. The college football game of the week on ESPN Classic, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Which game will it be? Will it be ours? Will we have an instant classic here? All right, 2nd down and 4. Warren deep in the backfield with Landers. They give it to him, and he is swarmed and dropped at about the 24-yard line. And a late flag comes in. This may be another personal foul.
And if so, it would really be unfortunate because you've got to maintain your discipline in games like this.
After completion of the play, personal foul, 61 offense, 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Rive Smith, Jr., left guard from Port Allen, Louisiana, penalized for that infraction. It's going to march Grambling back a bunch.
Take a look right in the middle of your screen, and it's going to come after the play is over. So play is by. He's out of the play completely, but at the end, he gets tossed there, and a little extracurricular activity there on the bottom. Looked like he was on the bottom. He got tossed there and mixed it up a little bit. You know, although the football is not round, it's funny how things just even out.
Whoa, I've actually never heard that before. That's good.
Thank you. Wonder how we're talking about things.
3rd down and 20. What's in the grab bag here for Grambling? They need a bunch. Landers, short pass complete to Warren out of the backfield, and he's going to be dragged out of bounds at the 36-yard line, well shy of 1st down yards. Marcellus Speaks on the stop.
Good job, and that's how you have to play that zone coverage. We talk about it. Come up, make a solid tackle to minimize the gain.
All right, this is 4th down and 17. Do you punt or do you try and kick a long field goal?
I think you pooch it. If you got an opportunity to go for the pooch kick to pin them, you've got to. This could be a game that turns out to field position and who can force who into a long drive.
Well, they're in punt formation. I don't think this is Tim Manuel. Manuel's their punter. It is indeed Tim Manuel, the senior punter. And he gets it away. And the ball is going to be down inside the 1-yard line. How about that?
That's why you punt the football. What are the chances that a team's going to drive 99.5 yards to score? Great kick by the punter there, putting that ball inside there. Look at this. Put a little spin on it, a little directional angle kick, and that's about as close as you can get it.
It is down inside the 1-yard line by Carlton Johnson. A punt of 35 yards for Tim Manuel. All right, Jackson State, located in the capital city of Mississippi, Jackson, founded back in 1877. Enrollment of just under 9,000.
And if you've never been to Jackson State, they've got something called the Walter Payton Wellness Center. phenomenal recreational center, tribute to Walter Payton, the legend, who was a Jackson State alumnus. But that's phenomenal. I don't know if you'll find a better on-campus facility for weightlifting and entertainment on any other campus in the South.
Delay a game. Offense, number 9.
That's the one time you really don't care.
Remains first down.
If you get a delay of the game penalty, where are you going to go? Half the distance.
What did it cost you, 2 inches?
As some of those famous alums athletically from Jackson State, they've had good basketball players. Purvis Short, Lindsey Hunter, the Detroit Pistons. Len Barney, fantastic all-pro defensive back. As the run left side is barely out of the end zone, Edward Lee with his first carry.
As the game goes on, you talk about the legends, and all the Jackson State faithful are so happy to be in this game. We got legends that are in town. And we'll be joined by a couple of them throughout the telecast.
Coy Bacon, Jerome Barkham. Just throwing out some legends who could possibly be with us. You never know. Robert Brazil.
Harold Jackson.
Jackie Slater.
Jackie Slater.
2nd down and 10. Jackson State hoping to avoid the tackle for loss. Incomplete, trying to get it to Carlos Simpson. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
Wow, had Jimmy Oliver had more time in the pocket, had a wide receiver wide open running down the seam and didn't have the time to go through his read. Rodney Gray, the tight end, ran untouched down the seam, but pressure makes you force the ball quicker than you want to, and it throws off the timing of a rhythm passing attack.
Oliver trying to give his punters some room to operate here. Should they not convert on this 3rd down? On the run, there's a flag down. Pass is incomplete. And now the situation is, what's the deal with the penalty? If it's a hold in the end zone, it's a safety.
It was definitely a hold in the end zone. Bull rush penetration by Grambling forced the holding penalty call.
Here's the call from our referee, Gregory Edwards.
Holding, number 75, offense, in the end zone. The result of the penalty is a safety.
Wow, how about that? 2 points for Rod Broadway's team, and they scored on defense.
Goes back to what I tell you. That's why you punt the ball, Eric. You got points. Look at the left side of your screen. Bull rush up the middle, and as he gets outside, you see him holding right there, clear. They're going to call that every time. Grab the jersey, call it every time. Easy call to make. 2 points. Tigers of Grambling State.
William Davis called for the hold in the end zone that results in 2 points for Grambling. So now both teams have scored defensively. Jackson on an interception, run back for a touchdown, and now Grambling by getting a safety with a holding penalty in the end zone.
Balanced teams. Tell you they've got championship offenses and they've got championship defenses to go along with it. So often they say that it's exciting to watch great offenses, but everybody that knows the game of football knows that you win championships with your defense.
As a former quarterback, do you get excited about watching good defense?
Never, but
probably gives you hives.
Never, yeah. Sometimes they hit too hard on the defensive side of the ball. I like the finesse game, the passing attack, and the playmakers. I'm typically Joe the fan. I want to see 80-yard touchdowns. I like those 58, 56 shootouts.
So after the safety, it'll be a free kick from the 20-yard line. And Grambling, you figure, would get good field position. Kevin Morrell, he could either punt it or kick it off the tee. He chooses to kick it off the tee. His last kickoff went out of bounds. It'll be returned from 25-yard line. Clyde Edwards barrels forward and gets out close to the 45-yard line, a return of 19 yards. So under a minute remaining here in the first quarter, and Brandon Landers will go back out and lead this offense for Grambling State.
Important for them to find some type of rhythm, some type of momentum. Seems like the Jackson State defense really started to give them trouble during the past 2 times they had the football. So if you're Grambling State, you got to find your rhythm offensively, and Brandon Landers has to get back involved in this game.
Five receivers in the game. Out of the shotgun, Landers takes the snap. Wants a punch deep, has a man. incomplete. Too strong, looking for Clyde Edwards, who had a step or two.
Clyde Edwards has that ability to get behind defenders, and to me, that's one of the marks of a good wide receiver. Can you get behind the person that's guarding you? And see Landers hang tough in the pocket, hangs that ball up there and just threw it on the outside shoulder where it needed to be on the inside shoulder. That close to having a big play.
Grambling 8-3 on the year, 8-1 in conference play. Their only loss coming in the Bayou Classic against Southern. Landers breaks a tackle, still on his feet, passes high and incomplete. It was actually caught by Tim Abney, but they're going to say he couldn't stay in bounds.
Good job by Landers getting outside the pocket. Made a heck of a throw, but Abney didn't have the ability to stay in bounds. And one thing you talked about, Grambling's last game, they lost to who?
They lost to Southern.
In the Bayou Classic. That's a no-no down in Louisiana. And one of the things you talk about is you see Landers here get outside. Look at that rope. He throws the ball on the rope. But in Grambling, it's kind of different when you talk about the importance. And some coaches have trouble realizing that expectation. If you're at the Grambling fans, would you rather win a SWAC championship or Bayou Classic? They'll tell you Bayou Classic is more important than winning a SWAC championship.
Landers on the run. Breaks another tackle and spins out for another first down. He was dead to rights at about midfield, breaks a tackle, and keeps the drive alive for the G-men.
A defensive coordinator's worst nightmare is a quarterback that can move. Because you can have the perfect defensive coverage called. When it all breaks down, that running quarterback finds a way to still hurt you and pick up the first down.
So Landers keeps his offense on the field. Redshirt junior from Monroe, Louisiana. Now in his third year as the starter, and having by far his best season as a collegian. And before the ball is snapped, a flag comes down on the field.
Prior to the snap, false start, 61, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Now Rod Broadway none too pleased as his offense moves back 5 yards. And that looks like that'll be it for the first quarter of play. Both teams heading to the sidelines, trying to catch their breath. We have had points galore through 15 minutes. Rod Broadway's team, they score once offensively and once defensively. The same can be said for Jackson State. Jackson has a 5-point lead. 14-9 is our score after 15 minutes of play. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk to fantastic all-pro receiver and former Jackson State Tiger, Jimmy Smith. He'll be in the booth with us.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. It's second quarter time here at the 9th SWAC championship game. Grambling looking for their 5th SWAC championship in the championship game, and their 22nd overall, taking on Jackson State. First down and 15 for the G-men. Ball is loose, and Brandon Landers just has to jump on top of it. It'll bring up a second down and a bunch. Well, joining us now in the booth is former Jackson State royalty, Jimmy Smith, who won a SWAC championship as a wide receiver, and then, of course, had a number of all-pro years with the Jacksonville Jaguars in the NFL. And Jimmy, why'd you decide to come back here and watch your alma mater play?
Well, I had time to. Normally, I'll be playing this time of the year. This is my first time coming back and to the SWAC championship as a spectator.
Now, the SWAC championship wasn't around when you were playing in the SWAC. What do you think it means to the conference? Do you wish you had the opportunity to perform on this stage?
I do. It's a national stage. You're playing in front of about 55 million people nationally.
Pass is caught. A huge gainer inside the 30-yard line goes Larry Kernigan. I apologize. Reginald Jackson with the grab.
You know, you got two traditional teams here, powerhouse teams in the SWAC, Jackson State and Grambling State. A lot of tradition there, a lot of Hall of Fame players. These two schools put a lot of NFL players in the league, and these players are some of the best players in NFL history.
How did Jackson State prepare you for the NFL? Jackson
State prepared me athletically and mentally. You know, it gave me the opportunity to grow spiritually, socially, and emotionally. And athletics is second to none at Jackson State.
Planned run, and Landers picks up a yard, maybe two, on first down. What was the decision process for you coming out of high school and deciding that you wanted to go to Jackson State?
I was a top 40 recruit coming out of Jackson Callaway High. And, yeah, I had the opportunity to go to the University of Florida, University of Texas, USC, all those schools. But the deciding factor was my father played there, Jimmy Smith, and he was drafted amongst the 11th players drafted in that 1 year. They set a record in NFL history.
1968.
Correct. So I just wanted to follow in my father's footsteps.
Now, did you have a choice? They say once your parents play for Jackson State, there's no choice.
To be honest with you, I really didn't have a choice, but I acted like I had a choice. You know, I did want to take advantage of being recruited and being taught about some of the bigger universities, but I'm glad I made a decision to come to Jackson State, and I got an opportunity to play, which enabled me to springboard my career in the NFL.
Now, I would think that playing at a large home facility like they do, Veterans Stadium down in Jackson, you were ready for playing in front of big crowds. You played in front of 50,000 plus in JSU.
Exactly. Not many black colleges are known for a big turnout. Jackson State was known as one of the biggest followings in black college sports. So, yeah, I am that's what you mean by being prepared for the NFL. I was prepared to go out there and perform in front of 75,000 week after week.
Clyde Edwards with that last grab. Now his 4th of the game. Is 194th. In his career, that is a new Grambling record. Tremont Douglas has his record broken by Clyde Edwards, and that was almost an interception for Jackson State. They had a chance right there for their 2nd pick of the game. Idris Abdul-Rashid had his hands on it.
That was one there where you had an opportunity to take points off the board that could come back to hurt you. You only get so many opportunities to make big plays and to stop a drive in its tracks. And in that case there, Abdul-Rashid missed a tremendous opportunity to make a big play.
So an opportunity for a field goal here. It's going to be, it looks to be about a 44-yarder. 38-yarder, I apologize, and the kick is up and good. Tim Manuel with the field goal, and that makes it a 14-12 game. Grambling able to get some points out of that drive, so Rod Broadway has to be pleased. So Grambling, after the safety, they're able to march down the field and get the field goal, so it's really a 5-point possession. Well, Jimmy, your thoughts on the program nowadays at Jackson State? They had a couple of years where they weren't so hot as you guys normally are, but Rick Comagee coming in here is really turning the program around.
I think Rick Comagee has done an awesome job in turning this program around. You know, what he's trying to do is uncover all the history that we have in Jackson State. The Robert Brazils, the Walter Payton, the Eddie Payton. You know, Eddie Payton got inducted to the SWAC Hall of Fame this weekend, so congratulations to him. So we want to uncover all the history of Jackson State and bring that back and bring all the athletes back to make this an even stronger university as we once won.
We know you love Jackson State, but you made your name, made everybody proud of you in the NFL. Let's talk about your old team, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Come out, competitive season. What's their outlook? Their
outlook is good. I think they're in the first place bid for a wild card. We'll see what happens against Pittsburgh this weekend. It's going to be cold up there. Normally we perform well in conditions like that. It's going to be snowy, it's going to be windy, it's going to be cold. So we're looking to run the table and set ourselves up for a good playoff run.
Kickoff is fielded inside the 10-yard line, and it's brought out by Keith Camp, a return of 12 yards out to about the 17, maybe 18-yard line. Jimmy Oliver, after a couple of rough stretches here, is going to have another opportunity. Last time with the football, his team gave up a safety when there's a holding call in the end zone.
Jimmy, we definitely thank you for coming and joining us here in the box, and we know you want to get down there and cheer on your Tigers.
Exactly. I'm missing the party, man. I got to get down there and party with my team, man.
Who's going to win the halftime show?
Well, obviously the Sonny Boom. We always win it. You know, Grambling, they'll put up a good showing. You know, me and Doug Williams were joking about it last night. It's just awesome to see players like Everson Walls, Doug Williams, Kenny Burrows, all these great, Jimmy Giles, all these great players to come back. So.
Ball is loose on the field, and I think that Grambling has the football.
I got to get down there.
Yeah, you got to get out. That's bad luck for you. Hey, Jimmy, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
That's all-pro receiver and SWAC legend Jimmy Smith joining us, and so far, well, not so good for Jackson State.
Let's take a look at this turnover. They're running the ball hard up the middle, and that's Cody Hull, and Hull's got the ball, and was he down by contact? You could make the argument the ground caused that fumble there, but in this type of situation, I think they're going to make sure they get the call right. Oh, it's coming out. That's a fumble. That ball was coming out before he hit the ground, and Grambling State being very opportunistic on the defensive side of the ball.
So the ball goes to Grambling. That's the second turnover of the game for JSU.
And we said it earlier in this game, but good teams make you pay for turnovers, and Grambling State has done a good job of taking advantage of the Jackson State turnovers, turning them into points.
They're going to credit Nigel Copeland for the fumble recovery, and that pleases Rod Broadway. So first down and 10, ball at the 24-yard line, and a flag comes down. This is a delay of game penalty.
So Jimmy was getting excited up here in the booth, wasn't he? Wonder if he's got coaching sometime in his future.
Prior to the snap, illegal substitution, offense, number 11. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
There's too many men in the huddle.
Illegal substitution call number 11, Larry Curligan. Now he's the backup quarterback for Grambling. Were they up to a little trick play possibly? They did say they've got a package for him, and he will play in this game. So when he comes in the game, we'll have to watch out for him now.
There's Curligan on the sideline trying to figure out what went wrong. Brandon Landers under center. Takes the handoff. Wants a bunch. Has a man. Incomplete. Edwards can't hang on. That was a beautifully thrown football. There is a flag down close to the line of scrimmage. Keith Camp was the man in coverage, but Clyde Edwards, he had his fingertips around the football, but couldn't hold on.
Holding, 61, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
That's the second penalty of the day called against Reeve Smith.
Look at this replay. You wonder why Brandon Landers is a 56% passer. You see number 80 wide open in the middle of your screen, but he goes for the home run ball. And Clyde Edwards did a good job of going up trying to bring that ball in at its highest point. Aggressive play there, play selection. You see Landers come around. You see the hold right there. Wow. They won't miss that one. And
Dennis Coit was held by Smith. That is now the fourth penalty called against Grambling of the half. So the 10-yarder marches them all the way back to the 39. Landers squirts it out, complete to Edwards, his 5th catch of the day.
Good job by Clyde Edwards of finding the soft spot in the Jackson's 8 zone coverage. Landers got flushed out of the pocket. Edwards came back to his quarterback. That's how they teach you.
And with that catch, Clyde Edwards now becomes the all-time leader in receiving yards for Grambling. Earlier today became the all-time leader in catches, now receiving yards. A little bit of everything.
But more importantly, he wants that other those 2 touchdown grabs to get the one that'll really help his team out here today.
Landers deep over the middle. It's caught. Another first down. Reginald Jackson with the grab.
Reggie. Oh, baseball, sorry. But Reggie Jackson got to play accolades, but good job of getting beyond the zone coverage. They're playing that soft zone. You see Landers stays firm in the pocket. Look at that release I was telling you about. And Reggie Jackson does a good job of adjusting to the football.
Reginald Jackson, it's important for him to play well today. He's actually from Birmingham. Went to Parker High School, just about a stone's throw away from Legion Field.
For years, Grambling's had a relationship with Parker High, and year after year, it seems like there's always somebody on the Grambling roster that's a star player from Parker High.
Well, it started with Buck Buchanan. Landers fakes a couple of directions, throws over the middle, and it's complete. Nominal gain, a pickup of 2, maybe 3. Tim Abney, the senior tight end, with the grab.
Haven't seen one of those in a while. They tried the old tight end screen. So it's one of those screen option passes, and those plays are kind of going by the wayside. You know, they used to call it off and used to be a staple in every collegiate or NFL playbook. Nowadays, if you're going to go screen pass, get it to the playmakers in space. That's normally the wide receivers and the running backs.
There's some confusion about who should be in the game. Tried to get a late substitution, decided against it. Cornelius Walker is deep in the backfield alongside Landers. And they give it to him. No, they give it to Frank Warren. And Warren gets barely back to the line of scrimmage. Good team defense played by Jackson State.
Great job by Malcolm Palmer, the outside linebacker, number 26. This is how you play outside force. You see him on the right side of your screen. Once you recognize the running back, nothing gets outside of you. He comes up and fills that outside divider. That's playing outside linebacker perfectly to a T. When you're the outside linebacker, nothing gets outside of you. Come up, make the tackle for no gain.
So it's now 3rd down and 8. Grambling can get a first down without getting a touchdown inside the 1. Landers keeps it himself. Nothing doing at all. He is stoned by Corey Clark. The second-team All-SWAC performer comes up with a huge defensive play.
You don't want your quarterback getting hit too often by guys that weigh over 300 pounds. And Corey Clark goes 6'3", 320 pounds. Good job of recognition. Landers decides he's going to tuck this ball and run and thinks he sees a hole, but no. Active D lineman, that's what you want. I like when the guys on the interior are very active and always moving.
Tim Manuel will come on and try and convert his second field goal of the quarter. This will be a 30-yarder. Manuel's kick is blocked. Blocked at the line of scrimmage. And the ball is knocked out of bounds. Keith Camp came flying through and took it off the toe of Tim Manuel.
If you're going to win a championship, you got to play well in all facets of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. And Jackson State coming up with a big play on special teams.
Rod Broadway's team would have taken the lead. This three-pointer would have put them up by 1, but Keith Camp says, not on my watch. Jackson State still up by 2. There is, without a doubt, the best player to ever lace him up for Jackson State. Maybe the best player, some would say, to ever lace him up on any level of football for any team. Walter Payton. What a fantastic career he had playing for the Jackson State Tigers. And he wasn't the only great Payton to play for Jackson State. His brother Eddie Payton, pretty darn good as well.
Very good. And sweetness. I always like, when we talk about Walter Payton, we got to talk about sweetness. And I think he's the greatest running back ever, period.
I'm kind of partial to Jim Brown, but he was pretty darn good.
He's a Cleveland guy. I understand. I was trying to think about Jim Brown.
First down run. And Giles rips out across the 40-yard line. Looking a bit like Walter Payton. And that's a huge gain, biggest play of the day for Jackson State, a 21-yard gainer. These are the numbers behind Walter Payton. 3,500 rushing yards as a collegiate, set 9 individual and career records. First-round pick of the Bears. At the time he retired, had more yards than anyone in the history of pro football. You're right, you can't really debate the fact he had a fantastic career.
You know, and I'm not knocking Jim Brown, obviously phenomenal athlete, but in terms of a back that never had to lead a football game, he was just as effective on the passing game as he was the running game and the blocking game. He was just a complete football player.
He could throw it too.
And he could throw it too. And I would say the best passing running back, Marcus Allen.
Prior to the snap, illegal substitution, number 19 defense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Jackson State, they're able to catch Grambling unawares. They quickly went to the line of scrimmage trying to catch Grambling napping, and Grambling couldn't figure out the defensive substitution pattern, and they get called for a 5-yard penalty.
And I really think what Jackson State's trying to do is bring some tempo to this game. This game has had a lot of stops, a lot of penalties, and Jackson State, they like to play up-tempo, fast-paced football, and they're trying to speed up the tempo of this football contest.
Oliver, handoff inside. Giles, his second consecutive carry, skips across midfield, and he's going to be close to the first down before Zaire Wilburn tackles him. There's Zaire Wilburn, and they call him the Pit Bull. First team All-SWAC. Second down and 1. The entire playbook is at their disposal. They could go deep, they could be conservative, just running, get the first down. They decide they want to throw. Oliver with tons of time. Whistles a pass down right sideline. It's caught. There is a flag down. No, they're going to say it's incomplete. Jamar Johnson was out of bounds when he caught it. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
And we talked about they have the whole playbook at their disposal. One thing you don't want to do is have any type of offensive penalty, and looks like this one may be going backwards.
Personal foul, clipping, 62, Offense, 15-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
The all-conference center, Lorenzo Breland, called for a clip. And that's a big penalty, 15 yards.
Yeah, you see Jimmy getting outside the pocket. And things like that tend to happen at the end of that run there. The pocket had moved. He got outside the pocket. And Breland there with the clip trying to get a body on him. But Jimmy Oliver, when we talk about him, he gets outside the pocket, but that was a very dangerous throw. He got away with it. He stuck it in the seam, but anytime you got one wide receiver sandwiched between two defenders, you probably need to make a better read.
Oliver wants to run. Pass is high, but caught. Good bit of concentration there by Carlos Simpson. He was knocked by John Carter, but able to hold on to the football.
That's a great grab there by Carlos Simpson, going up, catching that ball high, giving up his body, coming down, holding on for the grab, and that's what you want. When you catch the ball in space, you're going to get hit anyway, so you might as well hold on to the football. Take a look, this ball gets away from Oliver a little bit, and Simpson goes up high. Only 5'9", so if you're a 5'9" wide receiver, you got to have some hops.
So it'll bring up a 3rd down and 5. Jackson State trying to stay on the field. Oliver has a man. Caught. Big gainer for Simpson.
That's how you attack a cover 3 defense. Run somebody right up the seams. The weakness in cover 2, the seams, or of a cover 3, pardon me, the seams of the defense. And you see him get a free release on the outside, just go straight down the seam. That's not where the ball went to there, but they've sent 2 guys vertically down the seam and put the free safety in a bind. The free safety went left. Oliver threw it back to the right.
36 yards on that pickup. This Grambling defense reeling on this drive. Delayed handoff to Giles. And he sticks his nose in the pile and gets down to about the 16-yard line.
When you talk about Giles, I mean, the fact that watching him run the football, you just forget how big he is. I mean, he doesn't run like a big man, but he is 6'1", 230 pounds, and he actually runs like a scat back. So he's one of those guys, when they tell you he's fast, you believe it. But if you saw him physically up close and in person, you wouldn't think he was a SWAC champion in the 100 to 200. I'm very impressed with him. I think he's got a tremendous future. And they say those scouts love him. I think anytime you go below 4'3", 230 pounds, they always seem to love him.
That's big time. Remember, he's getting a lot of playing time today because Eric Haw can't go. He's got a knee injury, highly thought of tailback from Columbus, Ohio. Oliver again scrambling, trying to make something out of nothing. Oh man, look at the moves. Still with time, has a man wide open, touchdown! Christopher Johnson. But that was all Jimmy Oliver.
The legend of Jimmy Oliver keeps growing. What is a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare, Eric?
Jimmy Oliver.
Jimmy Oliver or a mobile quarterback. They had the right defense called, but you can't cover that long. Look at Oliver just making people miss, and a normal guy would have just gone down there, but keeping avoiding tackles one-on-one in open space. And then look at the head. Gets upfield, looks for somebody open, wide open for a touchdown in the back of the end zone. Christopher Johnson, touchdown, Jackson State.
As impressive as his feet were, I was more impressed with his eyes. How did he keep his eyes down the field and find a receiver? Jimmy Oliver showing a little bit of everything. Reaches into the bag of tricks and pulls out not only a rabbit, but he pulls out another touchdown pass. Christopher Johnson, and it's a touchdown, Jackson State. The Tigers have got him by the tail. Jimmy Oliver has been sensational for the Jackson State Tigers. He's already thrown 2 touchdown passes. His most recent one, you're never going to find anything more spectacular. Took about 15 seconds off the game clock and found his man in the back of the end zone for a touchdown.
I never had an opportunity to watch Fran Tarkenton play, but every highlight I see of Fran Tarkenton looks like what I just saw Jimmy Oliver do.
Kickoff. Taken at the 10-yard line. Clyde Edwards on the return. And Edwards gets out to the 24-yard line. That is where Grambling will start with the football. Grambling trying to get back into this one. They trail by 9. Grambling, Jackson State battling it out for the 9th SWAC Championship game here at the Old Gray Lady, Legion Field. And so far so good for that man on the right, Rick Comagee. His team ahead by 9 over Rod Broadway's Grambling State team. Grambling does have the football. Plenty of time remaining here in the first half. Landers out of the gun. Wants a bunch, and he throws it to the wrong man. Intercepted. Marcellus Speaks still on his feet inside the 30 to the 26. Oh, that was a blunder right there by Landers.
That's what happened when a quarterback locks in on a wide receiver. You tend to lose the middle linebacker, and Speaks does a good job of playing drop zone coverage from his inside linebacker position. Speaks is going to go look up. You see him just dropping, following the quarterback's eyes. Where's he going? Where's he going? And threw that ball right to him. And Speaks did a good job of playing center field, getting back in coverage, and then good job of, after he got the interception, becoming a running back, getting some more yardage and help your offense out for every yard you can.
Speaks making himself heard defensively with his first pick of the season.
That was a gimme. That's one where you go over to the coach and you say, son, what were you seeing?
Jackson State trying to convert. Oliver again flushed. Gets it out of the backfield. Giles pushed out of bounds at the 23. Already a couple of touchdown tosses from Jimmy Oliver.
Yeah, take a look here. All of them somehow have his legs involved in the play there. Bootleg, it was covered. He bought time, and this play here is just phenomenal. I mean, I don't know if you'll see a more exciting college football play this season, making the whole Grambling State defensive line miss, and after all that running around, wide open back the end zone, Christopher Johnson for the touchdown score.
That last touchdown reminded me of the signature play a year ago for Troy Smith, the Heisman Trophy Award winning quarterback for Ohio State. Very similar.
Very athletic, and good athletes find ways to make fantastic plays.
On the ground, Giles with the stutter step lowers his head and gets to the 19. Tackle made by middle backer Keith Hall, but not before a good gain. It's going to bring up 3rd down and short.
Now this is a play where you wonder, what type of defense do I call? You got a quarterback, if you play zone, he's going to run for it. Do you bring pressure? But the problem with bringing pressure is when you blitz, nobody's responsible for the quarterback. So if he gets outside the initial penetration, he can hit you with a big play. So very tough to defend mobile quarterbacks.
Jackson State, they've converted 4 of 6 third downs so far today. Play fake. Oliver has his pass tipped. And who comes up with it? The fullback, Edward Lee, said he did. Are they going to give him the catch? No, incomplete. They said it hit the ground. If he had actually made that catch, it would have been enough for the first down.
It would have. We talk about what do you do? They brought outside pressure, and after this ball's tipped, looks like it becomes a volleyball, hot potato. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. He actually might have come down with that ball.
He was on the 15-yard line. If they'd given him that catch, it would have been enough for the first down. But no instant replay. No chance to look at it again. And instead, it's just a good old-fashioned incompletion, and Eric Perry will come on and attempt a field goal. This one's being slotted as a 37-yarder, and a flag flies before the snap, and it looks like it's going to be encroachment on the defense. If it is, it's going to be a first down for Rick Comagee and Jackson State.
Prior to the snap, offsides, defense, 5-yard penalty. The result of the penalty is first down.
Looks like they did a little shift there with the hands on the field goal kicking unit, and that forced basically the whole defensive line for Grambling to jump off sides. You could have called that penalty on a number of guys, and those Broadway has that look like on a field goal. You got to be kidding me.
This has just got to be tearing the guts out for Rod Broadway. His team normally very well disciplined, but today they're just having all sorts of problems with mental mistakes. And a timeout is called. Jimmy Oliver didn't like what he saw.
Take a look at James Woody, the offensive coordinator there, and during the time on the actions, we'll talk a little more ball, Eric.
Ball talk.
Got some more ball talk questions here we're talking about. And this year, one thing they do in black college football is they give a national champion. Always a big debate in terms of who your national champion is going to be, and they got some qualified candidates out there. The winner of the MEAC conference was Delaware State. The winner of the SWAC conference will be determined here today, and Tuskegee was leading the poll. Undefeated season there. Do you reward them? Does a Division II team have what it takes to win? Eric, who's your vote? I'm putting you on the spot.
That's what I got to ask you about, because Tuskegee coming out of SIAC, they won the Pioneer Bowl, all that kind of stuff, ran the table undefeated. But can you put a Division II team ahead of a MEAC team or a SWAC team? Because it's not the team that had the best year. It's the team that the pollsters believe would beat everyone else, right?
Yes.
That's the number one.
It is, and that's what the ranking is, and that's why, I mean, it just works perfect in terms of when you talk about keeping the debate alive. And, you know, the question is, I think there's certain years when Division II teams will beat the best team from the MEAC or the SWAC. There have been some years, and is this one of those years? Possibly so. I think if the team goes undefeated, and, you know, give them credit. They do play a SWAC team. The Turkey Day Classic, Tuskegee plays against Alabama State every year, so they won this year. And they won, and they can beat Division I teams. So take a look at the Black College National Championships most all time. When did we fool anybody? You knew. You knew it was going to be Grambling, but Eddie Robinson and Florida A&M, Jake Gaither, and Tennessee State had a
Rick Comagee won a Black College National Championship when he was at Central State, at the time an NAIA school.
And he won one at Tuskegee as well when he was a Division II coach. So he knows what it's like to win the mythical Black College National Champion. And I got one of those too, Eric. I don't know if you know that. Howard University Bison.
Oh, sure.
93, we won it all.
You're wearing your ring proudly.
Always, always.
Giles speeds forward, gets inside the 3. Another first down for Jackson State. They're knocking on the door here after the mental mistake. The offsides on the field goal attempt continued the drive. Pitch out, left side. Giles. Touchdown, Jackson State. Three-yard touchdown run, the 3rd touchdown of the game for Jackson State. They're first on the ground.
Good run there, way to punch it in there. Excellent, well-executed run play there, and Jackson State's really got control of this football game. And look at the seal blocks on the outside. They got a pulling guard, and I like number 18, Christopher Johnson, on the outside. Did a good job of doing a great block to seal the corner to allow Giles to get to the end zone.
Perry, extra point is good. So Jackson State, a little bit of everything. 2 passing touchdowns, a defensive touchdown, and now a running touchdown for Lavaris Giles.
So now if you're Rob Broadway, now you really have a test here. The character of your team. All season long, they've had pretty much an easy run, except for the last game in which they played Southern University. The season's come easy to them. They really blew out some opponents early, and now they're on a tremendous platform coming from 16 back. Do they have the character it takes to get back in this football game?
Well, we're talking about Grambling, and their head coach, obviously, Rod Broadway. He's done a lot of fantastic things, but it's fairly well documented. He admits that he did go to Durham, North Carolina last week and interviewed for the Duke Blue Devil football job. Didn't get the job. It was given to David Cutcliffe. There's whispers about him possibly being interested in the Florida A&M job. Is this affecting his team at all? Do they understand that maybe he's flirting with a couple different schools?
I think so. I mean, you know, they're not in a vacuum. You know, they read about it. Folks are writing about it down in Louisiana. I don't think it can help the team at all. At some point, it does become a distraction, because even if you have to talk about it in one team meeting or for 2 minutes, it's a distraction in some way or another. Is that the reason they're losing today? I don't think so. I think Jackson State came out here right now. They're just outplaying the Tigers. But a lot of football left, and I think the character will be tested. I think that's what the great coaches seem to make great halftime adjustments.
Well, Rod Broadway, these are some of the stops that he has had. And for the most part, he was nothing but an FBS guy, a 1A coach for years at East Carolina, Duke, Florida, North Carolina. Basically followed Steve Spurrier around. He coached under Spurrier, not only Duke, but also won a national championship with him at Florida. He just recently has gone the HBCU route as the head coach for 3 years at North Carolina Central and now 1 year at Grambling. Very highly thought of as a tactician. Landers trying to avoid another mistake. Throws high, passes incomplete. Would have been nice, but Reginald Jackson can't hang on.
Now, this would be a great opportunity for Grambling to start getting into their no-huddle offense as the game starts to kind of get away from here early. You got to help Brandon Landers find a rhythm. You know, I'm a rhythm type of guy, and his body English right now isn't one of a quarterback that's comfortable, that's recognizes what defensive looks he's seeing. So you got to find a way with some short passes to get his rhythm going in this contest, because you're going to need him to make big plays.
Landers wants another big play. Pass is incomplete, looking for Edwards. 3rd down and 10.
That's the problem that you have. When you've got a quarterback that's not in rhythm, tough for him to hit that out route, which is a tough throw even when you're hot in that rhythm. So attack the middle of the field and go with the 3-step drop passing game a little bit to help get him going.
Well, if they don't get a first down here, Grambling will have taken off virtually none of the game clock. They're going to give the ball back to Jackson State with plenty of time. Landers again looking for a big play. Pass sails high, but there's a flag down in the secondary. This may bail out Grambling.
Maybe defensive holding in the secondary, which will give Grab an automatic first down if that's the case.
Holding, number 27, defense on the eligible receiver doing a forward pass. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Uh-oh, Willie Williams. That's not going to bring a smile to Rick Comedy's face. He keeps the drive alive for Grambling.
Yeah, unfortunate. Now you've got to take advantage of it. You got a defense that's really giving the Tiger offense fits right now, and to give them a free first down, wow, can't afford that.
Landers again hit when he throws, passes high and incomplete, looking for Nick Lewis.
Landers getting pressured there, getting hit as he was in the pocket, continuing to go with the vertical pass. You know, when you have a big arm like Brandon Landers, the reason why he's only a 56% passer, he goes vertical often. See here, one-on-one on the outside, and you see at the end of that, he gets hit, and good effort by the wide receiver to try and readjust for the ball.
Landers has completed 11 of 21 passes for 103 yards, a touchdown with 2 interceptions. Edwards the man in motion. And Landers is going to keep it himself. And he picks up 3 yards before Willie Williams on the tackle.
Coming into this game, we talked about the quarterbacks are going to be the men, and I think by far Jimmy Oliver's coming here and put on a clinic. After the early interception, he got on fire, and he's been throwing strikes, and Brandon Landers struggling a little bit. So right now you got to give credit to Jimmy Oliver outplaying Brandon Landers.
3rd down and 7. This would be a big play for Grambling. They can keep the football. Otherwise, they're going to give the ball back to Jackson State with plenty of time. Landers drops the snap, picks it up. Play is breaking down around him. He's got nowhere to go. Has to just simply throw it away.
Jackson State brought pressure. They brought the blitz from the outside to try and keep Landers in the pocket. So when he decided to scramble, there was nowhere to run to. All he could do was get rid of the football. Take a look. You see the blitz coming from the outside. He's trying to get outside the pocket for contain. Nowhere to go to the right. Nowhere to go back left. What do? Get rid of the football. And just a story of what's been going on with Brandon Landers in the first half. They found ways to frustrate and throw off the rhythm of this timing game from Grambling State.
So Jackson State looks like they're going to get the football back with plenty of time and 2 timeouts remaining. Tim Manuel's punt. Low driving kick fielded at the 23. Jamar Johnson. Oh man, he loses about 10 yards on that return. Started on the 23 and ends on the 12. 3rd Thursday night, December 20th, Capital One Bowl Week kicks off on ESPN. Over 20 bowl games in 12 days on the ESPN family of networks. This bowl extravaganza opens with what should be a high-scoring game between Utah and the Navy midshipmen. The San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN, Thursday, December 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
What a season for Navy.
Yeah, new head coach, too.
New head coach, knocked off Notre Dame, and they'll get rewarded with a bowl.
All right, how aggressive will Jackson State get here? Already up by 16 points. They've got 2 timeouts, but it looks like they're just going to bleed some clocking and get out of Dodge.
And I think that's because of the great special teams play by Grambling. They punted the ball, the return man lost yardage, so they decided they were just going to take it into halftime, and Grambling's not letting them off the hook so fast. They call timeout. They want to have another shot at trying to get the football back before the half.
Yeah, Grambling's going to be able to do this 2 more times. That was just their first timeout taken here the first half.
The only problem with this is 48 seconds to go before the half. You know what happens at halftime. Oh, yeah. The sonic boom of the South. They're down there patiently waiting to rock the house as only they can, if you ask them. Talk about them and how popular they are. Well, when you've got a good band, you get recognized in some of the places that they've been able to play. NFL teams, NBA All-Star Game, Senior Bowl, Motown 30th anniversary, and a plethora of NFL teams.
No, they're not the only band that travels. The world-famed Grambling State. They do some good work as well. They've obviously played the Sugar Bowl before. They've played Super Bowls before. They've done a lot of different things located there in Louisiana and get a chance to play in the Superdome in New Orleans.
Have you seen the sonic boom of the South before?
I've never seen the sonic boom of the South.
Well, that's the famed band there, and you talk about Grambling State, the world-famed Grambling State band, and Super Bowl, Senior Bowl, All-Star Game. They've actually played in overseas before.
They actually have 6 full-time, I don't know what you call them, coaches, people who work with the band, adults who work with the band. 6 full-time employees work with the band. That's almost as many coaches you have on a football team. Trying to bleed more clock, inside handoff. This is actually Carlos Simpson who has the football, his first carry. And another quick timeout is called by Grambling. What's your thoughts on what Grambling's doing here? Is this a good idea to try and get the football back, Jay, or do you think that maybe Grambling should just try and lick their wounds and go back to the locker room?
I think that Jackson State just wants to get to the locker room. Grambling, obviously, why not try and force Jackson State to punt the football, maybe get a punt block, you get a big return, give yourself another opportunity. If they can get any more points going into the half, it could be crucial.
All right, there's a timeout on the field, and with that timeout, we'll spend some time here on ESPN Classic to talk about some of your classic bands.
And we talked about some of them. You know, we know Grambling's world fame, and we know that FAMU, the Marching 101, and Jackson State's got the sonic boom of the South, and the Human Jukebox, Southern University, notorious for what they do. And Spartan Legion, Norfolk State does a great job, and Tennessee State. But on the bottom, you see the team I put there, one of the fastest rising bands, Bethune-Cookman. Wildcat band can get it done. They're not the traditional powerhouse that you always hear about, but they're very good in their own right.
3rd and 11, Simpson. Looks like he wants to throw, but instead he's going to try and run it. Can he get the first down? Yes, he does. And that was a great play for a number of reasons. First and foremost, it'll keep the ball with Jackson State, and now they can bleed the clock.
Yes, and it won't show up in the stat sheet as something that we look at later, but the importance of it can't be measured, because the fact that had he not gotten this first down, you'd have to punt the ball, and Grambling would have had a chance to try and put some more points on the board. But because of the individual effort put forth here, he was able to keep running and come away with the first down. Carlos Simpson did a great job.
Carlos Simpson looking a lot like Jimmy Oliver.
They got some athletes down there in Mississippi, don't they?
And this will probably do it. Jimmy Oliver, all he needs to do is take a knee. And he does. And that'll do it for our first half of play here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. The 9th SWAC Championship game so far is going the way of the Tigers of Jackson State. They're screaming, enjoying themselves here at the Old Gray Lady. Don't go anywhere. We talked about these SWAC bands. We were going to see some SWAC bands playing live and up close when we come back. Well, here live on ESPN Classic at Legion Field, the world-famed Grambling State Marching Band just finishing up. And they were something, let me tell you. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we will have a very special guest in our booth. A man from the first family of Jackson State football, Eddie Payton, just recently inducted into the SWAC Hall of Fame. He will join us. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this.
Can you hear?
Welcome back, everyone. We're here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. This is the 9th SWAC championship game. Jackson State, they have never won the championship game, even though they have won 15 SWAC championships. Grambling, they have never lost the SWAC championship game. They are 4-0 in this very special event. Well, talk about special. We are the first family of football at Jackson State, and not along with football, doing golf stuff as well. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we have much more live here on ESPN Classic from Legion Field. We're in Birmingham. We're just at halftime. A lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone. Jackson State looking for their first ever victory in a SWAC championship game. So far, so good. They're halfway home. They lead the Tigers of Grambling 28-12. And Jay, I know you're very impressed with the first half. The way Jimmy Oliver, as a senior, was able to just kind of pick his spots and really make big plays when he was able to.
And I like the fact that he overcame tough situations. He didn't get off to a great start through an interception on the first series, but after that, it was all Jimmy Oliver making fantastic plays, using his mobility to buy time in the pocket and hitting the wide open receiver. And talk about somebody that was elusive. This play right here signifies Jimmy Oliver, what he can do when he does special things with the football, making everybody miss. He's the Houdini of the SWAC conference, and that was a phenomenal play by Jimmy Oliver. Phenomenal first half as well.
Well, it wasn't all just Jimmy Oliver doing the damage against Grambling. A lot of the time, it was Grambling doing the damage against themselves. They just made a whole bunch of mental errors that aren't typical of a Rod Broadway team.
When you're talking about trying to win a championship, you have to hold on to the football and protect it. Grambling threw an interception. They had penalty markers all through the first half. 4 decisions there. Solid effort by the Jackson State defense, but Grambling just never found that rhythm, and they were very loose and lackadaisical with the football, and Jackson State made them pay.
So Grambling, they're going to have to do some work in that locker room, try and figure out what went wrong and figure out how to get back in this one. We're moments away from the start of the third quarter. The Grambling Tigers have come back out in the field. We'll see what they have in the bag of tricks. They're going to have to pick out a couple aces if they're going to get back in this one. Jimmy Oliver, J.O., the senior quarterback for Jackson State. 7 of 15, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns thrown in the first half. He has got a leg up on being this year's MVP of the SWAC championship game. And Rod Broadway, he's going to earn his money here in the second half. He needs to come up with couple of changes to try and figure out how to slow down Jimmy Oliver and try and slow down the turnovers and the mental mistakes his teams have made.
Yeah, they've got to figure out a way to keep Jimmy Oliver in the pocket. You can't allow him to continue to get outside the pocket because he's just wearing out your defensive backs trying to come up and make tackles.
Another good news for Grambling. They'll start with the football. On the return, Ryan Allen still on his feet and brought down with a thud at the 37-yard line. E.J. Hampton on the stop. Let's take a look at the first half numbers.
Both teams turned the ball over with 4 turnovers in a half. That's normally what you get in the whole game. They did that in the first half, and the points off turnovers. I think Jackson State was able to create more points than Grambling State, and that's been the real key thus far. But also the penalties. I mean, you got 14 flags called in the first half. They've got to settle down and start playing football.
Jay, Grambling ran the football just 15 times. 8 of those were quarterback scrambles from Brandon Landers. Do they need to establish a running game, or can they win this way?
I think right now, if you can do it on the first drive, yes. If you're going to start running the football, it's got to be on your first drive. But if you go on later in the game, you're still down by 16 points, and you got to start throwing the ball. And let's make no mistake about it, Grambling likes to throw the football.
Encroachment. Number 11 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Now I'm afraid that Gregory Edwards, our referee, is he's gonna wear down that the bead in the middle of his whistle. That's now the 7th penalty called against Grambling. In total, there have been 15 penalties called in today's game. Landers wants to throw it. Pass is complete. That's Clyde Edwards with the grab, and Edwards barrels forward out to close to the first down marker. Maybe just a whisker short.
And that's something that Grambling needs to do in the second half. Get the ball to Clyde Edwards. He's your best football player on the offensive side of the ball. Find ways to get him the football, whether it's a wide receiver screen, throwing the deep pass on the reverse. I'm a big fan of getting the ball to your playmakers. And for Grambling State, their playmaker is Clyde Edwards.
Yeah, it seemed as if they were kind of looking deeper than the underneath routes. It seemed like they were trying to take big chunks, and that's what led to the couple interceptions.
And that's why Brandon Landers was less than 50% passing in the first half.
On 2nd and 1, they lose one. The give goes right up the middle. Cornelius Walker is stoned. Corey Clark and Dennis Coit combined on that tackle. There's Coit, number 92.
I don't think you can have much success running the ball up the middle against Jackson State. You've got to attack the edge, attack the perimeter, get away from those big 300-pound backs, and go after those defensive ends that weigh 245 pounds.
They bring Frank Warren into the game, freshman from Pleasant Grove, Alabama. See if they try and run Warren right up the middle. They do. And Warren skips in. I don't think he's going to get there. Lyman fell forward and broke up that play, and Warren is going to be kept short of first down yards. Is this a decision time right now for Grambling?
I think if you want to set the tone, when you're coming out, it's not like you're deep, brawl around midfield, and what are you going to do in the second half? I think you should set the tone and go for it. At least try and get him to jump off sides. As many penalty flags as we've seen here today. Why not go for a hard count, then try and get rid of it? But Coach Broadway's the coach, and we're up here in the booth, and he's going to kick it.
Tim Manuel comes on to punt it away. Interesting formation as per usual for Grambling on the punt attempt. And Manuel gets off a low liner. It's going to go out of bounds. Not a particularly productive kick. They're going to mark it out inside the 30 at the 27-yard line. So a 3 and out for Grambling on their first possession of the second half.
I always like to measure coaches by halftime adjustments. I think the great ones go in there and they figure out what you're doing and they make the adjustments necessary. In the case of Grambling, that first drive was not indicative of what they want to come out and do. And I think the fact that now Jackson State's really in driver's seat. If they can find a way to put some points on the board right now, then you almost force Grambling to rely on the pass. So ball control is going to be the key. And let's see what adjustments Jimmy Oliver made.
And a flag. So both teams looks like they're going to be called for penalties on their first snap of the third quarter.
Prior to the snap, false start, 76, offense.
Identical starts for both Grambling and now Jackson here in the third quarter.
The more things change, the more things stay the same. They started out getting penalties in the first half, and they're continuing. And, you know, this has been a very sloppy play first half. And the team that can get it together and avoid the penalties is going to be the team that's going to win this football game.
First and 10 swells to first and 15. Oliver, pump fake, has a man, incomplete. Rodney Gray, sophomore from Batesville, Mississippi, had it and then dropped it.
For the defensive adjustments for Grambling, it looked like they put a spy linebacker there on Jimmy Oliver, and I don't know if that works because Jimmy can just outrun a linebacker, and it seems like they're going to try that package. I still think you have to continue to bring pressure from the outside to force him to make plays in the pocket.
There's Zaire Wilburn, senior from Houston, Texas, who had a solid first half of play and on a number of tackles. They run the ball. Delayed handoff. Lavera's Giles gets out to the 20-yard line. John Carter on the stop. Loss of 3.
In this stadium right now, it just feels kind of flat. You know, now that does happen in black college games because there's so much excitement at halftime. You got to take a break at some point, but you want to see one of these teams come out and take advantage of another team that's playing flat. I don't know if any team right now on the field is trying to gain momentum of this football game.
Third down and a bunch. JSU, they need to get out to the 38-yard line. Oliver. Pass is incomplete. It would have been well shy of first down yards. And the punt team will have to come on. Tim Simmons was the intended target for the Tigers.
Good stand by the Grambling State defense. That's the way you've got to play defense with Jimmy Oliver. Drop back in your zone coverage, have a spy linebacker in front of him so he can't run away from the pressure, and they can make throws from the pocket. If they can do that, they may have some success here in the second half.
Brett Bennett comes on to punt the football away. This is the first we've seen of Brett Bennett. Jackson State did not have to punt in the first half. And the ball is going to be down at about the 49-yard line. A punt of 32 yards for Bennett. We'll take a timeout. 11:38 remaining. Third quarter. Grambling will have the football when we come back.
Sunday mornings, wake up to one more great college football game. The ESPN Game of the Week.
John Stallworth, one of the greats, alongside Jay Walker. My name is Eric Collins. Glad you're joining us for the SWAC Championship. And Jay, I want to ask you, you played at Howard for the Bison. Why'd you choose to play at an HBCU?
I think that the opportunity presented to grow as a person. You know, going to Howard, it was never just a football decision for me. It was a life decision, a lifetime decision. And fortunately for me, everything worked out. I mean, I remember when I took my recruit trip there, I became kind of a big man on campus, and they said, the teachers were like, well, I don't care how many yards you threw for, you're going to be in class on Monday. So it was that type of environment that I needed coming from the West Coast, and it's just something that you can't put a price tag on. It's priceless, and best days of my life for being a quarterback at Howard University.
Number 70, offense, 15-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Well, this has been a theme with penalties just really killing both these teams here in the second half. So Grambling will be backed up a bit. The thought process with Howard, why did you actually settle in and zero in on Howard? Why was that attractive to you?
I always wanted to be a lawyer and then become a politician one day. And you got an opportunity to go to school in Washington, D.C., same school that produced Thurgood Marshall and Andrew Young. It was, you know, the resume for Howard. That's at all these schools. The leaders of tomorrow go to historically black colleges. They've done that for years. And, you know, I just don't think you can put a price tag on that. You're building leaders for tomorrow.
Cornelius Walker. Oh, my, spins, breaks a tackle, still on his feet inside the 35. The most explosive play of the day. And it is a big first down for the G-men, a pickup of 35 yards.
We talked about Grambling had all freshman running backs. Well, this is a diaper dandy, if I can use the term. Take a look here at the balance. All great running backs have the ability to make the first guy miss. And you get the ball in open space, first guy come up, make a tackle, spin move, stay on bounds, and keep going. That's that stuff there you just can't teach. You either got it or you don't. Talk about Cornelius Walker, he has it.
Another carry for the freshman from Atlanta. This time a little bit more difficult. Is the road. He picks up 3 yards. I know you have a special relationship. You got a phone call, or you had some relationship with legendary coach Eddie Robinson back in the day.
Eddie Robinson was just phenomenal. When I was going to the NFL Combine as a black college participant going to the Combine and the only quarterback, he told me, hey, all eyes are on you. You know, when you go to the Combine, it's not about representing yourself. You're representing the whole black college football community. Carry yourself as such, and that just meant so much getting that phone call. I felt like saying, how'd you get the number? Then I realized it's Eddie Robinson. You get everybody's number.
Pickup of a couple. It'll bring up a third down. Did you feel that being the quarterback for the Howard Bison and winning a national championship prepared you to play for a coach like Bill Parcells, who you played for in New England?
Definitely so. you know, when you go there, I was proven. It's just a matter of showing the rest of the world what I could do. When you go to a school like Howard, you get there, you've already got the odds against you. And you get to camp, you get to training camp, a little intimidating when you see Bill Parcells, but you know, Eddie Robinson, these guys are the legends, and they were schooling me well, so I was well prepared. And they taught me that you're better than everybody out there. You just have to carry it on that next level. And I was fortunate to play my 4 years in the NFL because of the foundation that Howard University laid for me.
And now fortunate enough to be a politician in the D.C. area. Landers has a man open, and look at this. Grambling back in the game. Nick Lewis with the touchdown.
Anytime you can protect your quarterback and allow those wide receivers that extra second to get open downfield, good things will happen. It all started with the protection on Brandon Landers. Look at this pocket. They don't even get close to him. They bring pressure, nobody around. He'll just pick you apart all day, and Nick Lewis did a good job of getting behind the secondary for the touchdown.
So that makes it a 10-point game. Jackson State on top of Grambling. And what's happening here? I think Grambling's going to go for 2.
Down by 16, they're thinking we don't know how many more touchdowns we'll get, so they're going to go for the 2 and try and well,
they're down
make
by
it a
10
one score.
right now.
Right now, they score, get 2 more points, they'll be down by 8. Another touchdown and a score, tie ball game.
Well, at least it forces Jackson State to burn a timeout because Jackson State didn't have the proper defensive alignment on the field.
Take a look here at the touchdown here. The play action gets them confused on the defensive side, but that pocket was so nicely done. And if you can protect your quarterback, good things happen. You know, you can find your quarterback, can find that rhythm, and wide receivers can get open. And that was a very impressive drive they made there. I like the touch on the ball. Take a look as it comes right to your living room there. Good touch over the top. Allow the wide receiver to run underneath the ball is an art that many young quarterbacks don't have. But he put good air underneath that. Now it's a well-executed play.
So now Rod Broadway, let's see who he sends out. Will he still send out the offense and go for 2, or will he decide just to go for the extra point? No, here comes Brandon Landers, so they will go for 2. Chasing points early in this one. Are you a fan of this decision?
I just look at, hey, if you don't get it, what happened? You're still down by 10, 2 scores, but if you get an opportunity to pick it up, if you would have been down by 9, you still need 2 scores to get back in it. So I think he's making the right move here.
Extra point.
Cornelius Walker is the deep back. He got him down close before the touchdown pass to Nick Lewis. Landers wants to throw, has a man open, and it's an easy 2-point conversion. Tim Abney, the senior tight end, makes it an 8-point lead for Jackson State. Now it looks like a great decision.
You were second-guessing Rob Broadway.
All right, Jackson State. They give up a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and just like that, it's a 1-possession lead for the Tigers. They're only up by 8.
The stakes high.
Welcome back, everyone. A lot of pageantry associated with the ninth SWAC championship game. And that last touchdown was a thing of beauty for Grambling. A 24-yard pitch and catch. Brandon Landers finding his man, Nick Lewis, wide open in the end zone. Another deep kickoff off the toe of Tim Manuel. And Jackson State will start at the 20-yard line. Well, Jay, Clyde Edwards picked a great time to make a good play in that 2-point conversion.
You wonder how Tim Abney got so wide open. Well, take a look at Clyde Edwards in the slot, and this is a pick play. They try and get a rub, but they got away with one here. Look at Clyde Edwards in the spot, trying to just go up and block the man that was supposed to guard Tim Abney there. So you wonder how he got so open. Hey, basketball's not the only sport where you can do the old pick and roll.
Now that's not legal, you're telling me.
If you don't get caught, it's legal. If they don't throw the flag, it's legal.
All right, it is now an 8-point lead for Jackson State. They were up by 16 at intermission, but after a 3-and-out and that touchdown for Grambling, the lead has been shaved down to just 8 points. Man is open. Oliver finds him. It's complete. Big gain down the right side. 24 yards, Roy James with his first catch.
See Jimmy Oliver here in the pocket and getting out and just letting that ball fly on the outside in the sweet spot of that cover 2 defense in between the cornerback and the safety. And when the cornerback fell down, made the throw very easy.
Is there a flag down on the field?
No, not in this game.
They're talking about it.
It's kind of tough to have a holding call there. He got rid of that ball pretty quickly.
There's no infraction on the play. The result of the play is a first down.
So, much to the glee of Rick Comegy, that play's going to stand. A pickup of 24 yards, just the 3rd catch of the season for Roy James. Oliver dumps it off to the back, out of the backfield. This is Giles, who can't find the football.
Are they calling
They're
that a
going to
lateral?
call it a lateral, and Grambling has the football. Wow, a backwards pass is the call, and it's a fumble. Give the ball over to Keith Hall in Grambling.
Wow, that momentum. They scored the touchdown. Now the defense came up with the big turnover that they needed. I think Jimmy Oliver's trying to plead his case, saying, I didn't throw that ball backwards, but we got something we call the eye in the sky and it doesn't lie. As we take a look at that replay, whether or not that was indeed or not a lateral. So Oliver gets the ball. He's about on the 18, on the 20. No, that's not a lateral. That's not a lateral.
Yeah, the fans here on the Jumbotron just saw that play, and they have no recourse. There is no replay here, but the in-house people are very upset because that was not an appropriate call. And there's a man wide open, and it's another touchdown for Grambling. Tim Abney. What a cataclysmic turn of events.
Cataclysmic. Wide open down the sideline. So often offensive coordinators, after they get a turnover, they like to go for the big play downfield. 4 go routes. Somebody's open. Tim Abney, touchdown.
And now they're going to go for 2 again to try and tie the game at 28.
Now I wonder if you call the pick play to the right side, do they have a pick play left?
Why not do it the same thing again? Pick play to the right again. It worked.
A little screen and roll.
Wouldn't this be something? 16 unanswered points in the first 6 minutes of the 3rd quarter if they can get this 2-point conversion. Man in motion is Edwards. Landers. Oh, this is going to have a hard time developing, but it is! It's another 2-point conversion again to Abney. Abney has scored the last 10 points for Grambling in the last 60 seconds.
He's feeling it right now. He likes to get busy in the end zone.
The official numbers, you're not going to believe this. 10 points in the last 12 seconds for Abney.
Well, it all started here. Well, this is after the turnover. You see Brandon Landers step up in the pocket, and Abney was so wide open. Busted coverage. They took advantage of it. That gave them the touchdown. Then they came out with a little throwback screen to the tight end. Good block on the outside. The lineman rolled up on a strong safety that was guarding Abney in coverage. That strong safety was Dominique Johnson, and it was a touchdown for the G-men.
This all started with what looked to be a blown call.
Yes, when they called it a lateral, when it was clearly a forward pass, and changed the complexity of this game. And if you blinked and you missed it, all of a sudden, 16-point game. I've never seen a 16-point lead evaporate that quickly.
So we're all even again at 28 after 2 touchdowns in 12 seconds, both of them thrown by Brandon Landers.
Can he keep up that type of pace?
Can you imagine?
The average touchdown every 6 seconds. That's why you got to throw the football, Eric. Hey, what's the easiest way to get something down the field? In the air.
So Manuel will kick it off again. Momentum is squarely on the side of Grambling. Manuel's got a toe. Look at that.
He's got a leg. Good kick.
3 yards into the end zone. On the return, not much doing Keith Camp is upended before he can get to the 20-yard line. We're here at the old Gray Lady Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, the 9th SWAC Championship game, alongside former Howard Bison quarterback Jay Walker. My name is Eric Collins. Grambling, they have won 21 SWAC championships. Jackson State 15, but their most recent one way back in 1996. Jimmy Oliver was the story in the first half. Here in the second half, it has been Brandon Landers and Tim Abney of Grambling. Trying to settle things down. Oliver. This one may be a lateral. Ball is loose, and they call it an incompletion. Looking for Carlos Simpson. I don't know. That one seemed more like a lateral than the first one.
That one seemed closer than the other one. I think for the fact that because Oliver's in the shotgun position, pretty hard to throw that wide receiver screen back for a lateral. But the official sure had a quick whistle there. Let's take a look at this one. He gets rid of it and woo! That's a lot closer than the previous one. That's for sure.
So 2nd down and 10. Jackson just trying to catch their breath, and before they can, a couple of flags come down on the field, and this is going to march them back.
Illegal substitution, had 12 guys in the huddle.
Illegal substitution, 86 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
All right, Jay. Jackson State, they haven't played a game since November 17th, a game against Alcorn State. Haven't played in close to a month. Is that a big deal?
I think so, and that's why we're seeing the penalties. I mean, that much time off. It's like the first game of the season. You normally expect to see a lot of penalties, and once you get back in action, that timing is off and that rhythm is off. So I think that's been the reason both teams have been so penalized today. They've been off for a little while, and they got to adjust that now. I don't want to make excuses for them, but time does become a factor. Time off.
Nobody home, looking for Jamar Johnson. Don't look now, but this could be one of those 3 and outs, taking all of 9 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, they've got to get it going right now, and the body English for Jimmy Oliver and Jackson State is gone. They had that swagger in the first half. They were really feeling themselves, clicking on all cylinders. That swagger's gone, and they lost it rather quickly. They must find a way to get it back, and one thing we haven't seen Jimmy Oliver do in the second half is run the football. Run, Jimmy, run.
3rd down and 15. Oliver has a man. It's caught and complete, enough for a 1st down for Jackson State. Jamar Johnson comes up with this one.
That was a big-time throw there by Jimmy Oliver. Had the patience to wait downfield and allow Jamar Johnson to clear the zone. Look at him reading his keys, step up in the pocket and throw the ball in rhythm. That's how you teach it.
Coaching staff said that Jamar Johnson was clutch, and we just saw it there. Knocked out of bounds after the short gain is Christopher Johnson. Pushed out by John Carter.
On paper, when you take a look at Jamar Johnson and Christopher Johnson, the stats are pretty similar to each other. And I asked the coaches, what's the difference? And they said, well, Jamar Johnson's the speed guy, and Chris Johnson is the bull guy. He's the strong one, so he's the one that can break tackles and make things happen after the catch, where Jamar likes to run away from people.
Pass is complete, another 1st down. This one to Jamar Johnson. So it's been an all Johnson drive last 3 plays.
Johnson and Johnson.
And Johnson.
And Johnson. So they've got it going right now, and you see Jackson State now going with this no-huddle offense. Like we talked about in the first half, they're a tempo team. They like to speed up the pace of game, and games start to get slow, they're going to speed it up.
Now this weather may change pretty darn soon. Looks like it's starting to get a little darker and overcast. We're expecting rain here in the Birmingham area. Inside run, there's a flag. Giles with that carry, but I don't know if it's going to hold up. If it does, he's out to the 50.
Came in that box where you normally see a holding call.
Holding, number 76, offense, 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
They call it on Michael Harshaw, the sophomore from Memphis. Well, after all the college football games are played this weekend, ESPN Classic will pick the very best game from the ESPN family of networks and give you a chance to see it again. The college football game of the week on ESPN Classic, Sunday morning at 9 Eastern. Maybe it'll be the FCS championship game played last night. Appalachian State against the Blue Hens of Delaware.
And how about that quarterback from Appalachian State?
Armonte Edwards can play.
He can run and he can throw it. He's a big-time player.
Oliver, pass is complete. Terrence Jones with the grab.
Now, does Appalachian State having the success that they had justify the Michigan loss?
Still no. No way. No way. Michigan was 5 at the time of that loss, playing at home.
So you're trying to say the guys here on the FCS level can't play? Keep in mind who your partner is now. Don't get thrown off this balcony now.
Quickly, they get it to Giles. Giles makes the first man miss, and then is tackled after a gain of 1. Zaire Wilburn with the stop. Wilburn starting to really put up numbers now in terms of tackles. Down on the field, slow to get up is John Scroggins, who is being tended to. And now they're going to stop the clock as Scroggins is going to hop off the field. Scroggins from Dallas, Texas, began his college career playing for Glenn Mason and the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Well, you know, time to talk a little ball. We got a couple seconds here, a little ball talk. Hey, everybody wants to know who the NFL prospects that are going to be playing on the next level. And I think, you know, we got a prospect in this game. When you talk about Daniel Brooks for Jackson State, he's got a chance at going on to the next level, and everybody's very excited about him. And you've got Chad Simpson, running back from Morgan State, rushed for over 1,700 yards. He's going to be an outstanding guy. He'll be playing on Sundays.
Oliver loses the football. He's able to jump on top of it. That was almost disastrous. Keith Hall is the man who got in the middle and may have stripped it away. Donald Williams also part of that mix after coming on and replacing John Scroggins.
You know, when you talk about the other guys, Shahir McBride, the wide receiver, you take a look at this fumble here. And this thing about Jimmy, sometimes he can become a little lackadaisical with that football. He was fortunate to get that ball back. But look at the guys making impacts from black colleges now in the NFL. Robert Mathis played Alabama A&M here in the SWAC. Antoine Bethea started free safety for the Colts. Rasheem Mathis, cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Creighton Florence out in San Diego.
Justin Durant for Jacksonville Jaguars, second-round pick from Hampton. So the talent is here, and you're watching some of the future stars. And the starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings played in this actual game, Tavares Jackson.
Ball is muffed, and who's got it? There's flags on both ends of this one. The initial signal that Jackson State has the football, but we're going to have to sort this one out.
I think the penalties are going to be, I think Graham's going to get the ball. They're going to say he didn't have enough room to make the catch. I think that's why the flag came in there. So even if Grambling doesn't recover the fumble, I'm pretty sure the penalty will be called on Jackson State for the halo rule.
Kick catch interference on the kicking team. Number 17, 15-yard penalty, first down.
So it is indeed against Jackson State, and that's good news if you're Rod Broadway, because not only will Grambling keep the football, but their field position will improve greatly.
They've made calls all day, and let's see that they missed this one. They didn't call the running into the kicker.
I don't know. That may have been an acting job there. I'm not sure if he was hit at all. That was Brett Bennett making it. Maybe he's a drama major.
They did that one, so Grambling's going to catch a break.
So Grambling had the football on the Jackson State side of the 50. Great field position for the Tigers. And Landers on this stretch play hands it off. This is Frank Warren, who picks up 4, maybe 5 on first down.
Last time Jackson State had the ball, they had this lateral that was kicked up off the ground, and it really wasn't a lateral, and Grambling came out, took advantage of it right away, and went deep to the end zone to get that score and really start to change the magnitude of this football game with the momentum. And this two-point conversion right here tied everything up at 28-28, and if you blink, you missed it. 16-point lead evaporated in 12 seconds.
Another handoff to Warren. This time he tries the left side, and he is upended at about the 37-yard line. Looks like that's going to be enough for another Grambling first down. LaBrose Hedgeman coming up from his cornerback stop to make the stop.
We talked about the halftime adjustments, and one of the adjustments that Grambling seems to have made in the running game. They stopped trying to run the ball up the middle. Now they're having some success running the ball on the edge, and I think that's a very wise move. They've got team speed on the perimeter. Jackson State just too strong on the trenches and the interior linemen.
Jay, both these teams seem to be in hurry-up mode, trying to get the snap off. It seems like when there's still at least 10 seconds left on the play clock. Is that intentional?
Well, SWAC conference, they like the up-tempo style of play. You know, they're not the Princeton offense that you see in college basketball. This is more like the Arkansas offense.
Flags down in the backfield, and Landers simply has to throw it away on the pressure. Marcus Bernard may have been held. We'll have to see what this flag's all about. Yeah, this is indeed going to go against Grambling.
Number 61, offense. That penalty declined. The quarterback was sacked. Second down.
So they decline the penalty, and they'll take the distance on the sack.
Yeah, even though he got rid of the ball, they're saying that he was down before he got rid of this. When you see the holding penalty right there top of your screen, he's got all that jersey, and when you turn him inside out like that, typically means you got great grip on there, and you get that extra grip by grabbing that jersey.
Well, Marcus Bernard happy that they took the sack. That's his team leading 9th quarterback takedown of the year. Landers gets it out. Pass is complete. Still on his feet is Clyde Edwards, who's finally brought down at the 45. A lot of moving around, but not much on the gain. They'll still have a whole bunch to go after on 3rd down.
But that was smart in terms of clock management. So often you see young quarterbacks decide they want to try and get it all back in one chunk. You got 2 downs to get the 1st down, so why not get what you can on 2nd, come back on 3rd down, maybe become a little bit more aggressive. And had Clyde Edwards been that way to get away from one more tackler, he'd have picked up more yardage. So I like the fact that Landers did not try and force the ball downfield.
Edwards had a record-breaking day today. Has now officially become the all-time leading pass catcher and receiving yardage gainer in the history of Grambling. And Landers may pick up the 1st down with his feet. He slides, and he may be short. I think he slid before he got to the 1st down marker.
He did. And that's something, once you get outside that pocket, you can take a quick peek over on the sideline to see where the 1st down yardage is. Had he leaned forward, he would have gotten the 1st down, but he went with the baseball slide instead of the forward dive. See him there, they play the zone. Everybody's got their back turned to Brandon Landers. He gives the pump fake, runs upfield, go forward. Oh, because of the slide, they're going to put him short, bringing up a very crucial 4th down situation.
So they're going to go for it on 4th down and 1. They bring in the defensive lineman, William Nance, number 73, to be in the backfield for Grambling. And Jackson State wants to talk about how they're going to defend this. This is their 2nd timeout, and we will take a timeout with them. 3:06 remaining, 3rd quarter. Big 4th down and 1. Jackson State trying to stop them and get off the field.
There you go, baby.
All right, big play here. 4th down and 1. Grambling trying to stay on the field. They've got the jumbo package in. They're bunched at the line of scrimmage. And now they split out. They got 3 receivers to the right and 3 to the left. What's this on 4th and 1?
3 linemen.
Landers. Pass to Jackson complete. He's got the 1st down. Talk about a strange play on 4th and 1.
They took the left tackle and lined him up out there in the slot. He was just a lead blocker. Greatly drawn up play by design schematically. The left tackle, Everett Edwards, went out there and was the lead blocker on that passing play.
So much for sticking it down their throat. They got cute on 4th and 1.
You got to know your personnel. One thing to Jackson State's credit, they're very firm in the trenches, particularly at those defensive tackle positions.
Inside run, Warren. Inside the 15 to the 12. Pickup of 13 before Hedgeman brings him down.
Good job on the seal block there. What do you do when you got guys that are a little bit stronger than you? You double team. Look at the slide block. Give them a cut down lane. Play was designed to go right. Wide open hole to the left on the cutback. Good vision by the running back.
So another first down for the Tigers of Grambling. They hand it off again. This time Warren doesn't have a lot of room to run. He picks up 3. Corey Clark on the stop.
Corey Clark played a good football game here today. He's been active, and he's one of those guys that's got that motor. On the season, had 10 tackles for losses, and anytime you get that tackle for loss, that means you got a lineman making tackles behind the line of scrimmage. That's what defensive coordinators really like to see.
We just saw Frank Warren leave the game. He's replaced in the backfield by Cornelius Walker. Landers wants to throw. Back of the end zone. Incomplete, looking for Reginald Jackson. Well, Jay, we've seen this pattern before for Grambling teams in the SWAC Championship game. They start off slowly and then play the second half like their hair's on fire. In 4 previous SWAC Championship games, they averaged 7 points in the first half. In the second half, well, this is why they won all 4 of them, they averaged 24 points in the second half. So basically triple the amount of points that they had in the first half and the second.
Not how you start, how you finish. And if you told me that they averaged 7 points in the first half, there's no way I would think they were undefeated in SWAC Championship games, and they're trying to keep that streak alive.
Reginald Jackson in motion. Landers flushed, throws across the grain, incomplete. That was the play that scored the 2-point conversion on a moment ago with Tim Abney.
Pressure there, and even if Landers would have been able to complete that ball to Abney, Abney was pretty well covered. He had his back to the defense, and the free safety didn't fall for that. LeBrose Hedgeman was on him, and you see the pressure, the penetration forces Brandon to throw that ball off his back leg, and defensive back was coming in that trail position. So good job of defense and playing man-to-man coverage by Jackson State.
That was your guy Daniel Brooks on the pressure, the guy you think's got pro potential.
Yeah, he's active, very active, big guy. Reminds me of Robert Mathis, we talked about. He's a little bit bigger than Robert Mathis, but he's got that motor and can really attack from the edge.
Tim Manuel trying to give Grambling the lead, and he does. The senior place kicker knocks it in. And just like that, Grambling back on top of Jackson State. Remember, they were down by 16 at the half.
So give the folks that made the drive over from Ruston or Grambling, Louisiana, something to cheer about. It's been one of those games with all types of momentum changes and changing momentum, and Grambling's got the lead right now. I think Coach Broadway did a great job of motivating his team at halftime.
Well, Thursday night, December 20th, Capital One Bowl Week kicks off on ESPN. Over 20 bowl games in 12 days on the ESPN family of networks. This bowl extravaganza opens with what should be a high-scoring game between the Utah Runnin' Utes and the Midshipmen of Navy. The San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl, part of Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN, starts Thursday, December 20th at 2, check that, at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's a dapper dress mascot there. Jackson State Tiger had his tuxedo outfit on.
Let's see if Tim Manuel can get this one into the end zone. He's really showed a strong leg on kickoff today. And he does, drives it through the back of the end zone. He had a little bit of English on it, gets it through the end zone and comes back in.
He's impressive. He's got plenty of leg. And one of the things I like to do is put you on the spot a little bit. We're going to talk about the Classic. That's what makes Black college football so special. And the Bayou Classic, where's that played, Eric?
Bayou Classic, of course, that's down in New Orleans.
Grambling Southern. Florida Classics played in Florida. Who's it between?
Bethune-Cookman and FAMU.
Magic City Classic.
Right here in Birmingham, Alabama State against Alabama A&M.
Circle City Classic.
Indianapolis, Naptown.
Who plays in it?
2 different teams.
Yeah, there you go. They switch every year. Southern Heritage Classic.
Got me on that one. I don't know.
Memphis, Tennessee between?
I'm going to say Fisk.
Jackson State and Tennessee State.
Okay, well, I was strong in the first 4.
Capital City Classic.
They played in the capital city of, don't tell me, of Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi. That's Jackson against Alcorn.
Not Alcorn, Alcorn. The Urban League Classic.
I have no idea about that one.
Urban, come on, city. Biggest city in the United States.
New York.
New York. New York.
Turkey Day.
Turkey Day Classic. Played on Thanksgiving.
That's between, I'm going to get this one. Alabama State.
Yeah.
And Tuskegee.
Tuskegee. The last one, Tuskegee House Classic. Come on, figure that out.
That's Morehouse and Tuskegee.
Where's it played, though?
Well, they should play it. They played in Atlanta.
No. Columbus, Georgia.
Really?
Have a little fun there. Now, we know we missed a couple, though. Don't put me there, but hey, we missed a couple. But those are some of the classics that are special. Now, those aren't in particular order. I know I'll get in trouble for the numbers of the rankings. We were just playing a little geography. You did a good job, man.
Yeah. You terrified me.
You're about 70% there.
Terrified me. All right, we're going to have to re-kick this. They're going to say that it was an offside. And so we'll do it again. And this would really be impressive if Tim Manuel can get the ball in the end zone from the 25.
He's got a shot. He's got a leg.
At the 4 is the return. And out to the 25-yard line goes Keith Camp. Well, the big story in today's game has been the penalties. Flags have been flying. Both teams in double figures in terms of penalties. Jackson State already with 100 yards that they've given up because of penalties.
Wow, 22 yards, 22 penalty flags, almost 200 yards of total offense. Oh, I'm sorry, that's penalty offense. But sloppily played football game, and I don't think either one of the coaches expected this. But to think you can have double-digit penalties and still be in a football game.
We've seen this happen all day long. At some point, is it possible for a coach to say, guys, we can't do this anymore? How do you stop the penalties mid-game?
I've never seen it done. I think you just tell the guys the penalties that you can change, meaning personal fouls and things of that nature. You just tell the players to play between the whistles, but don't, do the extracurricular activity. That's all you really do, because you don't want to do anything to discourage their effort. And as we're talking about penalty flags, of course.
Another one's on the field.
Another one's on the field.
Tavares Giles on that run, which pushed out of bounds, but we'll have to sort this one out.
Personal foul, chop block, number 62, offense. Half the distance to the goal line, repeat first down.
All SWAC center Lorenzo Breland called for the chop block.
And see, he's got to know better, because early in the game they caught him earlier for that same type of block. They called it clipping from the center position. So anytime they're going to call you for those type of blocks the first time, you can't do it the second time. You got to give respect to the officials and realize that's something that they're looking for.
Have you agreed with the majority of these penalties that have been called?
I think so, because that's the thing about it. They've been easy to call. You run a toss sweep to the outside, you catch the left tackle holding. That's football 101. They see it coming. So I don't think there have been any controversial flags here. And every time we've gone to a replay, we've been able to identify who's been called for the penalty and what they did wrong.
Oliver wants to throw on first down. Out of the backfield, that's Giles with the catch. Comes across the other way. And he's got a wall now. Giles, oh my, he stoned Brandon Logan.
Woo!
Oh my. Kenneth Anio sticks him up and puts him down. Actually, never put him down, but he throws him out of bounds, and there's a late flag in there now.
Woo! Look, I mean, at the end of the run, look at the effort. This is a great run put forward by Giles. But look at the end of the run. Oh, look, delayed knockout. You see the delayed knockout? I hope he's okay. When you see him get hit like that, normally it's like the impact didn't get him, but he might have lost his whereabouts or something, because he fell like he was just dizzy. I mean, this is a dream right here.
Holding, number 13, defense, 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Repeat first down.
So give Kenneth Anio the holding penalty and also give him the tackle.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. You got the block there. Good job getting the outside, but this is one of those hits. I don't know if I've ever seen one of this. This looks like a boxing match hit. Bam! He's up. He looks. Okay, he fell on the ankle. Okay. I was worried about him. The way he fell, that was normal when you give him a standing 8 count, but he stepped on a teammate's ankle. All right.
And as both teams break the huddle, our referee, Gregory Edwards, talking over with his staff. Should the clock have been moving? I'm not sure what this is about. Here's the call from Mr. Edwards, who's been a very busy man all afternoon long.
The penalty for defensive holding was not an automatic first down. The change should be set at the 26, and the line to gain should be the 36. The down is still first down.
Take a look there. Giles over on the sideline there, letting him shake out the cobwebs from that last hit there. The trainers have been talking to him, asking him, is he okay? And see, he's getting a little extra attention there.
And again, it looks like the referees are having a problem figuring out what's happening on the field, as there's another brief communication. The down marker on the sideline, the far sideline, says that it is second down. We have reason to believe it's second down and 8.
No, normally not a good sign when you say you got reason to believe it's second down. I mean, not having a good day at the office.
Yeah, is Gregory Edwards having a bad day with his crew right now, or what's the situation?
You know, we're trying to be fair to him. I think the flag has been justified. We talked about that. And every now and then, you know, football's one of those games where you kind of lose your whereabouts. You know, in baseball, I've seen umpires with the pitch counter forget the count. Sometimes it happens in football as well.
But this is a championship game, and it's a championship game for this crew as well. And this is a reward at the end of the year. This is the best of the best.
They've had one call when they called the lateral, and clearly wasn't a lateral, and that was really a game-changing moment. So I think that's been the most costly penalty. Other than that, you know, call it like you see them, and they've done okay. Just a lot of miscommunication.
They call it first down and 8, and it's all irrelevant because a long pass play is a completion to Jamar Johnson.
Seems to me like Jimmy Oliver's grown up as a quarterback right now in his last game at Jackson State, realizing he's got the arm and he can read defenses, and he's comfortable enough in his reads and progressions to stay in the pocket and throw the ball. In the second half, he's come out and hasn't scrambled at all. He's just been a pocket passer and showing the versatility. He doesn't have to rely on his legs. He can also pick apart a coverage mentally as well.
Carlos Simpson is now deep in the backfield. They fake it to him, and Oliver wants to run it himself. Oliver off to the races, lowers his head, and gets down to the 27-yard line. Zaire Wilburn on the stop, but not before another first down run for the senior QB.
And all of that was set up because of his ability to pick the defense apart from the pocket. They forgot about him as a running threat. And you take a look here, he's reading his coverage, and he says, wow, are you going to leave it that wide open? I'm gone. He finds a gap and lowers the head, becomes a running back there, and picks up the big play.
Let's see if they decide to run another play here in the third quarter. Play clock is a little bit behind the game clock. They don't have to take a snap if they don't want to. But they will. Oliver. Pass is incomplete. On the right side, looking. And John Carter, I think, is going to be called for a penalty. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the hit.
This completes the third quarter.
The taunting there. He did a great job of playing drop chase from the linebacker spot. He looked up the curl route, got underneath it, put the big hit, disengaged the wide receiver from the football, but stood over him in celebration.
All right, we'll show you the replay and then send you off to break. We've played 3 quarters of play. It is a 3-point lead for Grambling. They dominated this third quarter, but now Jackson State trying to get back what they lost. All right, fourth quarter now. Jimmy Oliver and the Jackson State Tigers. They had a 16-point lead at the half, but they were outscored 19-0 in the third quarter. Now trying to get some of it back. First play of the fourth quarter is a run to Giles, who picks up a couple. Jason Banks on the stop, the big defensive tackle from Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, hey, what's he doing going to Grambling? That's Southern territory. You don't see that too often.
Southern beat Grambling earlier this year in the Bayou Classic, and the people in Grambling, Louisiana, none too pleased. Look at this. Basically, 1 out of every 4.5 plays, we have had a penalty call today. 25 penalties in 107 plays. That's hard to do, even if you're trying. Second down, Oliver with time over the middle. Incomplete. Good defense played, looking for Carlos Simpson. Nigel Copeland on the coverage. Derek Johnson also may have gotten a hand in the way.
Yeah, that was one there where he tried to force that throw in there. There were two Grambling Tiger defenders there that had an opportunity to go for the interception. Oliver got away with one there, and now's the key. It seemed like there was plenty of room to run there, but he made up his mind he was staying in the pocket. So you almost wonder, is he determining whether or not he's going to run based on his pre-snap read?
Third down. They need to get inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line. Oliver flushed, still on his feet. Wow. Makes the play. It's a touchdown. Jackson State. Terrence Jones. Jimmy Oliver was dead to rights, and he makes something out of nothing.
Like my mama used to say, you go, boy. I mean, that is just a grown man's type of football play. You know, they used to say you never can send a little boy in there to do a grown man's job. Well, take a look at this replay. They send it an outside linebacker comes in off the corner to blitz. You have to have a D lineman to bring him down. Got a block there at the end, and what an outstanding individual effort by James Oliver.
It was Brandon Logan who had Oliver and couldn't bring him down. Extra point makes it a 4-point lead for Jackson State. All right, and just like that, the Tigers of Jackson State on top of the Tigers of Grambling by 4. Grambling will try and answer when we come back. Jimmy Oliver now with 3 touchdown passes. Basically each one more impressive than the one before.
I think he went to put on his cape. He's got his cape on there, the Superman cape. With the type of plays he's been making, he's played super.
Just getting started here in the 4th quarter, less than a minute into this. Kickoff is short, returnable from the 11-yard line. This is Clyde Edwards. And Edwards bounces out to about the 24-yard line, and that is where Grambling State will start with the football.
When Superman does not have on his cape, he's a pretty good football player as well. You see him get outside here, down in the graps, looks, finds somebody open downfield for the touchdown, and that's how you make super plays, and that's how you go out there and compete for SWAC championships.
So Grambling, after scoring 19 points in the 3rd quarter, they'll have the ball for the first time here in the 4th. Looking for their 22nd SWAC championship in school history, but first under Rod Broadway. Landers swarmed and dropped. Big ol' number 97, Corey Clark with the sack, his 5th of the season.
Didn't I tell you he could play, Eric?
You did say that.
I
do remember that.
Big guy in the trench, got a motor, gets to the ball, and you don't expect defensive tackles to give you 5 sacks on the season. Those are supposed to be your rush guys from the end, but because of his motor and his energy, he just does a good old-fashioned bull rush up the middle for the sack. See the stats there with the offensive line for Grambling struggling today. As well as the last couple games, they've had their trouble protecting the quarterback.
So a loss of 5, make that a loss of 4. 2nd down at 14. Edwards, the man in motion. Landers fakes that way, comes the other way. Middle screen to the freshman tailback, Frank Warren, who's brought down well shy of the original line of scrimmage. He's going to bring up a 3rd down and a bunch.
Coach Comagese has his team doing a good job of swarming to the football. You talk about different coaches and their style. Rick Comagese, he's a defensive coach. He's one of those guys that he's been a defensive coordinator for years. So anytime you got a head coach with a defensive mentality, they like to swarm to the ball. And his defense right now is trying to figure out ways to rattle Brandon Landers and slowly but surely starting to gain some momentum and controlling the trenches again.
And Grambling would love to somehow find a way to keep this drive alive. 3rd and 12. Landers dumps it off, incomplete. Warren can't hang on, and the punt team will have to come on. Corey Clark again just a huge factor on all three of those plays on this drive. And look at this. Things looking ominous weather-wise here in the Ham.
Ominous. You got him going today, huh? You're clicking on all cylinders, aren't you?
Yeah, we expected a lot of rain. It was supposed to come close to the start of today's game, but we've been bone dry so far.
It's raining now. I see drops coming, so weather's going to be a factor. And if you're throwing a passing team like both these teams are, the team in the lead's got a better chance of holding on to that victory as the first drops are coming. And looks like this rain's going to get here quick, fast, and in a hurry.
A punt of 36 yards, and Jackson State will have the football at about the 41-yard line. Well, Rick Comagee, just a great story. His first 2 years as a head coach, he was at Cheney in Pennsylvania, didn't win a game. 2 consecutive years, 0-11, 0-11. Needless to say, he lost his job. But he came up swinging, goes to Central State, took the Marauders to an NAIA championship in 1995, spun that into a job at Tuskegee, coaching the Golden Tigers, won 4 SIAC championships, and now in his second year at Jackson State. Run to the right side is Giles. And this program was reeling. They had 3 consecutive losing seasons until he came around and said, nope, I'm going to stick my finger and plug that dike up, and we're going to be just fantastic from now on. And they have been. Yes,
he has. He's done a great job. And we've talked often about Coach Broadway being one of the hot names in terms of moving up the coaching ranks. Coach Comagee, he's got a vision too. He says, ultimately, I want to be one of those guys that coaches on the Division I FBS level. So I think we talked about the coaches, and 2 of the best coaches you're going to see in FCS football. They both want the opportunity to be pioneers and following the steps of Willie Jeffries, going from a historically black college to coaching on the major Division I level.
Coming the other way. Giles, not much doing, brought down.
Wow.
No, still on his feet. Oh, he sneaks out. He's got a chance. Touchdown, Giles.
Taunting.
What a run. Laverace Giles looked like he was stopped, nowhere to go, but he breaks through, and a 55-yard touchdown is the result.
Look at the balance here. He goes there. Because of his quickness, we forget how big he is. He's a load. You got 2 defenders there. He keeps the legs going, runs through those arm tackles, and shows you the power, now the speed, and I don't like that taunting right there at the end.
If you ask me, I'm not the rules maker, but they should put the penalty on from when he first did that. He did it at the 15-yard line. They should mark the 15 yards from there.
You want to take the points off the board,
Take the points off the board. He did it before he scored the touchdown.
I'm an offensive guy, man. You never take points off the board. Too hard to come by, E.
He shouldn't have done it.
On the kickoff.
You can't condone that.
Sticking to my story. Not a fan of taking points off the board.
Eric Perry comes on for the extra point. And the lead swells to 11. And now the rain's really coming down. So when it rains, it pours. Things are not looking good for Grambling. A long touchdown run, Laverace Giles.
The new Phillips Norelco Architect, a shaver with flexible head.
They're dancing in the rain here at the old Great Lady. Legion Field has been the site of a high-scoring SWAC championship game, and Jackson State feeling pretty good right now, up by 11 after a 55-yard run by that man, Laverace Giles.
Talked about the penalty now. Although they've got an 11-point lead, you've got to think Grambling's going to cut in that lead because they're going to get the ball back with tremendous field position because of the taunting penalty. So they got that unnecessary penalty. Let's see if Grambling can capitalize and get a good return to get the ball in great field position to start off this drive.
Yeah, that was, make no bones about it, a selfish play for Giles. He was able to get a little bit of excitement out of it, but it really cost his team. They could have really buried Grambling with field position, but now Reginald Jackson is going to get the ball all the way out to the 44-yard line.
We're talking about the taunting penalty that was assessed by Laverace Giles, and you see here, I mean, this is a fantastic run. I mean, let's not take away from that. It was a little classless at the end of the run, but this is a great run. Running through tackles, getting strong, physical, keeping the load to the ground, and breaking out of it. Then last 15 yards, pointing to the guy, you can't catch me, you can't catch me.
Do you think he knew that was going to be a penalty?
No. I'm going to defend him and say no because he wouldn't have done it. but something he's got to learn. Do you think he knew?
If he didn't, he still did it. That was a selfish play. All right, a 19-point third quarter for Grambling, but so far a goose egg for the Tigers. And a little trick play. Landers has the football under pressure, and he's brought down. They got cute, and Daniel Brooks made him pay.
Got to question why you would call the double pass with the elements coming. Feels a little slick, ball's wet, not as easy to hold on to. Are they starting to get desperate? Is there a sense of desperation as Coach Broadway and staff think that they're running out of time and time to empty out the old playbook? I don't think so. Yeah, great field position. I think you needed 2 first downs, and you were basically in field goal range now. You'll really struggle to pick up this first down after
a loss of 13
yards. Wow.
Landers' pass is bobbled and dropped. Looking for Reginald Jackson to bring up 3rd and 23.
Just like in driving, they always tell you the most dangerous time to be on the road is when it first starts to rain and snow, because the oil comes up and the roads get a little slicker. When football as well, the toughest time to hold on to a football is when it first starts raining. After the balls get saturated and soaked, then you can grab them. But when you got a slick surface and that little coat of glaze on there, the ball becomes slippery early, and then you become catchable. But right now, I think it's a slick football out there. They got this field turf here, so kind of tough to hold on that ball. We saw Reggie Jackson have a hard time bringing that in.
Landers throws over the middle. It's caught. It's caught by Jackson, just a whisker short of the first down. Decision time for Grambling.
I think you've got to go for it here. I mean, you already showed that you need to get some more plays, and you see Landers step up here and deliver this ball, and Reggie Jackson goes up high. A little tough guy there. 5'9", 170 pounds, the senior, reaching up, making that grab, and that was all heart and determination to hold on to that football.
And it was Malcolm Palmer who made the tackle, and indeed, Rod Broadway's going to keep the offense out there. And a timeout is called by Jackson State. This is their final timeout of the game.
They want to get it right. You can understand the timeout call. They're saying if we make this stop right here, we can almost clinch this football game. We don't think we'll need our timeouts because we're going to keep the lead. So they want to try and win it right now. If they can make this stop, get the football back, why not go for the win right now? Call your timeout and get your best defensive play call.
Yeah, we're on the cusp of history. Already we've had a combined 73 points scored between Jackson State and Grambling State. The record in a SWAC championship game, and this is the 9th SWAC championship game, is 75 combined points scored. And that was in a game between Alabama State and Southern. That was back in 2004 on this field here in Birmingham.
I was fortunate enough to call that game, and a young man by the name of Quincy Richard, Southern University, put on a clinic.
All right, 4th down and 1. They keep it on the ground, and they get the first down, and then some. Frank Warren gets inside the 40 to the 37. That time they go with power football.
Power football, but not up the middle. Don't want to run up the middle. That's where Corey Clark is. So they attack the tackles and the defensive ends. And I think that's where they had some success running the ball. Do they continue to run the football?
Rain has really slowed down a bit for a while. It was really coming down. Landers wants a bunch. Heads deep. Incomplete. Some pushing and shoving, but nothing called. Clyde Edwards, the intended receiver.
They've done a good job of taking away Clyde Edwards, Grambling's #1 passing threat in the passing game, forcing Landers to throw to secondary receivers and the likes of Reggie Jackson, who he's gone to, and Tim Abney, the tight end. And it seems like they're playing inside-out cover on Edwards. We've never seen him just run one-on-one free down the field. He's been somebody in his face short and somebody deep over the top as well.
Landers gets it out. Dangerous pass. Are they going to say that one is a lateral? Yes, it was a lateral, so it's going to move them back. It's not an incomplete pass.
And this is just great pressure. They're bringing 4-man rush and just collapse in the pocket. Landers gets rid of that ball, and that was an easy call there. That was clearly a lateral.
So instead of 3rd and 10, it'll bring up 3rd and 16, maybe 17. That's the 3rd time today that we've seen passes that have flirted with being forward passes or backward lateral. So it's 3rd and a bunch. Grambling, they need to get to the 27-yard line. Landers steps up, wants a bunch. Incomplete, batted around by a couple of Tiger defenders. Dominic Johnson had his mitts on it first. And now I think they have to punt the football.
Brandon Landers got away with one. He just threw that ball up for grabs. If you're going to throw the ball to somebody running up the seam, you've got to stick that ball in there. You've got 2 Tigers there, and very fortunate that ball wasn't picked up, and it was sitting there on a helmet. Had the wide receiver been able to recognize where the ball was, he might have picked up a free touchdown there, but just don't like the fact that Landers threw that ball up for grabs here. Very dangerous pass.
And Dominic Johnson, who had a pick 6 in the first quarter, almost had his 2nd interception of the day. Tim Manuel to punt. Low liner. Playable. And running out of bounds goes Carlos Simpson. A punt of 35 yards and a nominal gain on the return. We'll be back with Jackson State with the football.
She used to make lunch for us every day. And she put these little notes in the lunch bag. You take out your...
All right, the name of the game for Jimmy Oliver and Jackson State will be clock management here. They're going to just try and bleed some clock, you would assume, with an 11-point lead and 9:11 remaining on the clock. And they start off on the ground. Laveraus Giles spun around and loses a yard on 1st down.
With 9 minutes left to go in the game, you don't want to become too conservative. Yes, you want to use the clock as your friend. You do have the lead, but don't make it where you're forcing yourself to do 3 plays and out, and all of a sudden you're putting your defense right back on the field, as the wear and tear on them will start to take its toll too. We've seen Grambling has the ability to strike quickly, so Jackson State cannot get too conservative in their play calling right now.
Giles now over the 100-yard mark. Jackson State, the last time they won a SWAC championship was 1996. It's been a while. A little pitch and catch. Giles out of the backfield, makes a couple of guys miss, and barrels forward across the 1st down marker to the 28-yard line.
Like the play call, high chance for success. Throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage, get the ball to the running back in space, just like an extended handoff, and the clock continues to run, and they picked up the 1st down.
Gain of 14 yards. And the rain starting to come down a little bit more strongly. Wind picking up as well. Oliver keeps it himself and brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Christian Anthony. Anthony leading the team in tackles for losses, picks up another.
Staying busy, and right now, if you're Grambling, you really want your defense to make a play. If you can go for the takeaway, go for the strip if you can, you've got to figure out ways to try and help get your team the football back.
And don't look now, but Jimmy Oliver has to limp off the field. Jackson State can't call timeout and look at him because they have no more timeouts. So Trey Rutland, the sophomore from Atlanta, the Mississippi State transfer, comes into the game for the 1st time.
And I'm pretty sure he will be handing the football off. You don't want to put a guy in there in these type of elements with the rain coming down and ask him to come out throwing the ball.
Actually, they just moved Carlos Simpson over to quarterback, who has been one of the wide receivers, and he pitches it out to Giles.
Take a look at the end of the play here and see what got Jimmy Oliver out of this football game. Oh, man, just got dragged, and the weight of the defensive lineman bringing him down. Christian Anthony on that leg there. That allows Grambling State to do some different things. Now you can almost put 9 people in that box. Force them to throw the ball. You know Jackson State doesn't want to, so you got to start thinking long term. Hey, if we can get this ball back, score, you know, Jimmy Oliver to come back in, we can almost shut down this offense. So could be a key break in this game for Grambling State.
Now Trey Rutland is in the game under center. And he calls timeout, a timeout they don't have. So it's a delay of game penalty. I still don't think that Rutland realizes they have no timeout. It's going to march him back 5 yards.
Delay of game, number 7 offense, 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
So instead of 3rd and 11, it's 3rd and 16.
And one thing I would do with Grambling, they came out showing some soft zone coverage. I would get right in their face. I would go hard man-to-man coverage, get that extra guy in the box. You know they're going to run the football. Don't give them an opportunity to complete a pass.
Now, Rutland is a big deal. He started 4 games a year ago for Sylvester Croom and Mississippi State. So he's been there and done that before at the highest level. They don't want him to throw the football. He runs the football and runs out of bounds. And a flag comes in late. Is this a possible late hit? Well, the last thing he wanted to do was go out of bounds. That stops the clock.
Stops the clock. And, you know, Rutland, one thing about him, he's got a cannon for a right arm. And see what that hit is there. It's another penalty there. And right now, Jackson State seems really disoriented, and the officials also got to grab control of this game.
Number 82, offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but Trey Rutland comes in, and he's on the field for 1 play. He calls a timeout that they don't have, and then runs out of bounds, and they're trying to play keep away with the game clock.
Look at the hole right there in the middle of your screen. You can see that hole. And that's what we're saying. True, the officials have thrown a lot of plays, but there haven't been too many unjustified plays where that's obvious to call outside the pocket. Somebody holds on the end.
Brett Bennett comes on to the punt team for Jackson State. Clyde Edwards back deep at about his own 50-yard line. They're not expecting much of a punt here in this driving rain. Bennett loses the football and almost has it blocked. May have been partially blocked. It gets a tremendous roll, and a flag comes down at about the 10-yard line.
I don't know if they got a hand on that ball, so they may call running into the kicker.
It's a 29-yard punt. It was in the air about 10 yards and rolled the other 19.
Top spin. Put a little top spin on that punt. Let it take off and jump. Wow, they got very fortunate. That kick was not blocked. Grambling had great penetration, and I think they just missed it.
Running into the kicker, number 29 on the defense. That penalty is declined. 1st down.
Now, because it wasn't enough for the 1st down, they'll take the result of the kick.
But they've got penetration coming right up the middle. Oh, he just overran it because of the poor angle. Did he? If he got a hand on that one, it can't be running into the kicker, but maybe he didn't get it. Wow, that was an opportunity Grambling had to block that kick, and that would have resulted in points immediately, and missed opportunity.
Now the rain is just cascading down now. Let's see how Grambling can deal with this weather. Down by 11. Landers under center. They don't want to try the shotgun. And Landers spins out of a tackle, still on his feet, and finally brought down at the 37-yard line. Daniel Brooks and Anthony Atkins with the stop.
Daniel Brooks did a good job of keeping it going on that play there. He was the first guy to get back in the pocket to force Landers to leave the pocket. Landers got away from him. Brooks got back up and continued his pursuit of the quarterback.
So another negative yardage play, a loss of 10.
They don't have to get it all back in chunks now. 5 minutes, you're down by 11 points. You don't have to go vertical. I think Brandon Landers has got his mindset, I got to keep throwing the ball deep down the field. Get the ball to those playmakers in space, and if the wet condition, you make one tackle miss, and you can make good things happen.
Landers on the run. Throws that out of bounds. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 20. At least that stops the clock if you're a Grambling fan.
No rhythm whatsoever right now from the Grambling State offense, and you've got to give credit where credit is due. The front four for Jackson State have taken over this football game, and their presence is being felt by the lack of production from Grambling State in the offense right now.
Rod Broadway, could this be his final game as the head man at Grambling? Whispers that he's got an opportunity, should he so choose, to go be the head coach of the Rattlers of Florida A&M. We shall see what happens in the coming days and coming weeks. 3rd down and 20. 4 receivers in the game. Maybe 4-down territory. Landers spins out of a tackle. Can't break the second one, and he's down. Anthony Atkins, his 2nd sack of the drive. Atkins had to leave the game in the first half with an injury. He's come back with a vengeance.
You talk about this possibly being 4-down territory. Depends on how much yardage they would have picked up on 3rd down. But when you've got a quarterback that gets sacked, you've got to punt the football. And they're doing this with a 4-man rush. You're not talking about a blitzing linebacker. These are defensive linemen and defensive end that are just getting after the football.
So Tim Manuel, the punt team, they come on. Low line drive kick. Simpson chases it with the over-the-head catch at the 10. And he gets out to the 20-yard line. That is where Jackson State will start the drive with 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. And it looks like the backup quarterback, Trey Rutland, will be the signal caller.
The coaches, when we talked to them, they were very excited about Trey Rutland. They felt comfortable with Trey Rutland. And you asked them, is this the future of your program at quarterback? And they said, no doubt about it. Big, strong kid, 6'3", 230 pounds, well-built. He can throw it. Just a matter of how much do they trust him now with everything riding on the line to throw the football.
All right, now 4-10 standing in the way of Jackson State winning their first ever SWAC championship game. They have won SWAC titles, but just none as a result of winning the SWAC championship. Rutland tackled after a gain of a yard, maybe 2.
A busted play there, and that's what happens. Trey Rutland came out and went the wrong way. So right now, this offense is just all over the place. I mean,
but at least he stayed in bounds.
Barely.
Yeah.
He was running towards the sideline, and that's something they've got to work on and find a rhythm. And as a backup quarterback, you never know when your number's going to be called. One of the most difficult jobs you can have in sports because you have to be on standby at any time. And the good backups, the offense don't miss a beat. And I'm one of those fans where I ask the coaches about their backup, can he win a game or can he just manage the game? And they thought that Trey Rutland was one of those guys that could win the game they called upon.
Play clock down underneath 5. And Rutland loses the football. Geez, this has just been disastrous with Rutland in the game for Jackson State.
Yeah, you know, they're going to be lucky right now. They're just trying to escape here with the victory. And you knew it was just a matter of time before Grambling State decided to use those timeouts and use the clock as their ally to slow it down to see what they can do to get the football back.
So the first timeout of the second half used by Grambling. Well, Jay, for the first time ever, there is there's a new name to the trophy that's being handed out to the winner of this game. It's now called the Eddie Robinson Trophy. That's what everyone's playing for. The winner of the SWAC championship game gets the Eddie Robinson Trophy.
In honor of legendary American. I call him an American first. People don't realize Eddie Robinson was a tremendous American. But in honor of legendary Hall of Fame coach Eddie Robinson, who built Grambling. You can almost make the case he built Grambling. He built Grambling, and his legacy will be missed.
Not only did he build Grambling, but he marketed Grambling. People across the country know about Grambling and Grambling football because of the way that they marketed and said, you know what? We have a good thing here. We want you guys to know about it. 3rd down and a bunch. They hand the football off to Giles. And really all you can say about that is they burned some clock. But Grambling, they take a timeout. And, well, there is Eddie Robinson, head coach between 1941 and 1997. So many fantastic players, so many lives that he influenced, passed away last April. 408 wins on his ledger, more than Paul Bear Bryant, more than Bobby Bowden, more than Joe Paterno, the most wins ever in the history of Division I football. 408, 165 losses, 15 ties, and he sent more than 200 players to the NFL and 4 players to the NFL Hall of Fame.
He affected the lives of 200 players making it to the NFL, but he affected the lives of thousands of young men and turned them into productive citizens and was the biggest influence. I've never met a Grambling player that played at Grambling that didn't tell me that Eddie Robinson was the biggest influence on their life.
Well, just some of the things that happened under Eddie Robinson's watch. Tank Younger, the first player from a historically black college university drafted by the NFL. Buck Buchanan, the first HBCU player drafted #1. Buck Buchanan from right here in Birmingham, Alabama. Doug Williams, one of his quarterbacks, not only starting in the Super Bowl, but winning the Super Bowl MVP for the Washington Redskins.
And is still the only African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Before the play, a whistle and a flag.
Prior to the snap, false start, 72. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Interesting tidbit. All 3 trophies that award individual awards on the FCS level are named after products of
these 2 schools.
Of black colleges, yes, these 2 schools. Offensive Player of the Year is called the
Walter Payton Award.
Walter Payton Award.
Landers jumps up in the pocket and just throws it away.
The Defensive Player of the Award, goes for the best defensive player on this level of football, is the
Junius Buck Buchanan Award.
People don't know about the Junius part, and I think they call him Buck for a reason. He likes to go by Buck, Eric. And the Coach of the Year in all college football. In all college football is called the
Eddie Robinson
Award. Now they've got an Eddie Robinson trophy for the winner of this game as well. Hit you with a little nugget there that you were ready for. I can't get anything by you, Eric.
You tried to get me with the classics. That was hard. That was hard.
And you being the bookworm that you are, you still got a passing grade.
2nd and 15. Landers. Oh, threw it to the wrong man. Disaster. Daniel Brooks down to the 35, and that may be all she wrote. 3rd interception of the day for Jackson State. A 22-yard return, and more importantly, Jackson State, they have the football.
They've got the football, and I think it's safe to say that they've got a 98% chance of winning a SWAC championship if they can hold on to it and run out this clock. Threw the ball right to Daniel Brooks, and Brooks has been all over the field. He's been a great pass rusher, and he's showing he's got some pass coverage skills there on the gimme, dropping back in the middle of that zone coverage and held on to it. And things are looking good down in the capital of Mississippi right now.
Well, if our good friend Andre Ware was here, he would say, Katie, bar the door. This one's over. Jackson State just going to run some clock. Grambling, they can only stop the clock one more time. All right. This is bordering on ridiculous. How many delay of games have we had?
Wow, when we talk about Jackson State, you're talking about one of the proud programs. And you see the 2 meetings this season, how it's come out, the results, and always tough to beat a team once. Very tough in football to beat a team twice. And Jackson State came here ready to play. And congratulations to everybody down there. Peaches in Jackson, Mississippi. I know they are celebrating well, and they deserve it. I mean, they've been through so much over the past 5 years, and I think the pride is back in Jackson, Mississippi.
Rutland keeps it on the ground. Clock continues to run. Malcolm Palmer on the stop, and look at the faithful here. They've made the pilgrimage, about 3.5 hours drive from Jackson, Mississippi here to Birmingham. While the other side, now the Grambling fans, a little bit colder, a little bit more wet.
Say a little colder, you feel the elements when you lose, and that is very much so. And let's give credit to Jackson State. They brought 30,000 people to the stadium today. They came 30,000 strong. You talk about having a football backing. Jackson State.
And what do you have? Before the snap, we have a penalty.
No, not in this game.
Delay a game, defense, 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
That man right there, Gregory Edwards, has had more face time than our 2 quarterbacks and the head coaches combined. We've seen more of him than we've seen anyone else. 28 combined penalties called. That's just called. We're not even talking about the ones that were declined. Second and 11, just trying to bleed the clock. Rutland hands it off. And down to the 30-yard line goes Giles. And the clock continues to move.
One of the good things for Jackson State, I think they deserve a lot of credit for. You come there and all their coaches deserve credit. Did a great job. Rick Comegys, obviously. Hey, talk about getting a chance to coach a Division I program. The way his track record has been, why not take a chance on him? And I'm one of the fans, I believe, from promoted within. And be interesting to see if the offensive coordinator gets a shot. I mean, James Woody did a good job with this offense going through the SWAC conference. So be interesting to see how long he keep his staff together.
Pitch left side. Giles stays in bounds and is brought down. And just a couple of moments ago, look at this. The big fellas trying to be sneaky.
You don't mind the Gatorade when it's already raining. Did they get them good?
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty accurate, too. See, but I don't know. The Gatorade effect kind of gets minimized when it's wet and it's raining. You're already wet.
Well, Grambling, they're not going to stop the clock, and that's going to do it. Congratulations to Jackson State. They took a couple body blows in the third quarter when Grambling rolled off 19 unanswered points. But when it's all said and done, Jackson State, they pick themselves up off the mat, and they win their first championship since 1996.
Fantastic job. They got it done. Hats off to them for getting it done when they needed to. JSU champions of the SWAC conference.
So that'll do it. Rick Comegys victorious over Rod Broadway, and Jackson State wins the SWAC championship. For my partner, Jay Walker, I'm Eric Collins saying goodbye from Legion Field in Alabama.
Of State Farm.